The Toronto Raptors are now 7th in the Eastern Conference. 7th? Rob is definitely going to be more mature than we are being. LOL. Don't hold your breath. I might not be. I would love to tell you that there's some... Look, I did say this was going to be a tough game. Back-to-back, Raptors are not playing well. The Pelicans are playing well. But I didn't expect Jakob Poeltl to play this game. When I thought Jakob Poeltl was playing, I'm like, okay, Jakob Poeltl plays. Manuel quickly plays better. You're not as decimated by the size differential, even though they have 3 centers coming off the bench that you could really sell yourself that all 3 of those guys might play for the Raptors right now. Even 37-year-old DeAndre Jordan might play for the Raptors. But my God, this game was a 1-point game with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and it results in one of the most embarrassing blowouts in years for the Raptors. I don't think that you'd be crazy to say this is rock bottom. That sounds like hyperbole. There's a lot of Raptors podcasters who crash out like every other week, and they say, this is the worst, this is the best, this is the worst, this is the best. And pretty even keel all season. I think we can say that. Okay, aside from my presumptuous, the Raptors are a good team, the Raptors are going to make the playoffs, the Raptors might be a 50-plus win team coming into this season, I think I've been pretty even keel through the ups and downs of this season. I haven't been too celebratory when they beat the OKC Thunder. I'm like, hey, man, it's just another game. I haven't been too crazy about like when they went on a 9-game win streak. But I think there was a moment right around that 9-game win streak where I was like, could the Raptors push for first in the Eastern Conference? Man, those days seem so gone right now. So gone. So many things wrong with the Raptors. And I know that people want to say the roster can't shoot. It's not good enough. They don't have enough shot generation. But I promise you, it's not just that simple. There are players on this team that can shoot. Bill Withers, I always appreciate you. Scotty needs to heal up, rest a few days. Hardest working guy in the league. Appreciate that, man. Scotty has not been himself defensively, and the Raptors now move to 0-3 on the season when Scottie Barnes fails to register double-digit points. There's something that I tweeted out at the beginning of the third quarter. At the beginning of the fourth quarter. I just want to let y'all know that there's a number here that's going to be music to Scotty Barnes fans' ears right now as you try to collectively gain your consciousness about like him being a max player and him having 9 points and just trying to reconcile those two facts. Over the last 5 games, including this game, again, before the fourth quarter, the Raptors are plus 18 with Scottie Barnes on the court. And they are negative 59 with Brandon Ingram on the court. At that point in this game, the Raptors were plus 4 with Scottie and negative 14 with Ingram. So it didn't shock me that when Ingram came into the game with around 9.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the Raptors offense officially fell off a cliff and they proceed to lose this game by nearly 20 points. I mean, they end up cutting the lead right at the end to like 11. But before garbage time, this was pretty much a 20-point game. And Scotty started out really well in this game, as he has started out the last few games really well. And as the game went on further and further, the Raptors go away from him and they turn him into some sort of corner catch and shoot specialist, which of course he is not. The Raptors have a version of this roster that kind of makes sense around Scotty. It does not involve most of the starters. It's usually Scotty plus Jacoby plus Grady, Jameson, Sandro. These are the players that just make sense. They move off the ball quickly. They fill the lanes correctly. They move into cutting zones correctly. I could see one of maybe RJ or Ingram participating in those lineups. But as it pertains to the data on this season, Scotty and Ingram are barely scraping by winning their minutes together. But when it's Scotty without Ingram, it's good. It's like actually good. The Raptors defense gets way better. Their offense is pretty much where it's been all season. But when it's Ingram without Scotty, it's bad. And a lot of the last 10, 12 games, that's what you're seeing. It's Darko splitting up Ingram and Scotty. And the minutes with Ingram plus IQ plus RJ, it's usually pretty bad. And then the minutes with Scotty plus bench unit plus one starter, possibly, it's usually pretty good. I think the Raptors really miss CMB right now. I think they really miss CMB right now because tonight, a player like Colin Murray-Boyles would have changed a lot of things for the Raptors. Specifically, it would have given you another positive defender in the starting lineup. I don't think the Raptors have another positive defender in the starting lineup. Jakob Poeltl at this point is not a positive defender. They just get him onto switches. Now, the Raptors were able to attack a hapless, sometimes retreating Jeremiah Fears to generate some easy offense. They were able to catch the Pelicans napping. This is not a good defensive team by any means. The Pelicans suck defensively. But that being said, Tyler won later to commercials, question mark. Yes, YouTube runs ads. People like me rely on ads to make money, but I apologize. I've been hearing that YouTube's running more ads. I got to tell you, I watch other videos. I've been getting like 15 ads every single thing. So I apologize if YouTube is running more ads at this point. It could just be, a temporary thing. I have no idea how YouTube adjusts this algorithm. I can tell you for sure our monthly channel income is the lowest it's ever been. So more ads than ever, less money than ever. Shout outs to YouTube. Shoot. PJX saying, don't be cheap, get YouTube Premium. Yeah. This offense is unwatchable. Ain't it ever? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so I want to show you, there are moments and pockets in space where the Raptors were favored to win, right? They were up 24 to 17. There was a blip in that first quarter where things were looking pretty good. Things were looking good. There was a blip right there. But for the majority of it, you can see they were below that 50 mark, which is to say the Pelicans were favored to win this game almost throughout. Now, the Raptors did mount a pretty enormous comeback. Pretty enormous. They were down 16 points, 75-91. Okay? That is the second time, by the way. There's two separate times that they managed to dig themselves into a 16-plus point hole and then got themselves out of it once and then dug themselves right back into it. And then they got to right here, 93-95 with 9 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And Darko decides, as he has done multiple times over the last few games, to go back to Ingram. Brandon Ingram checked in the next possession. Okay? Like, this is not a joke. This is not like, oh, they were doing this against the bench and then both starters came in. No, this is just a matter of Brandon Ingram's a good player. The Raptors have no idea how to use him. Okay? I think two things can be true. Brandon Ingram is a good player. He is a very good player. The Raptors, as their roster and their coaching staff, have no idea how to use this guy. They completely siphon off the offense. Everyone stands still as quickly, predictably dribbles his ass around the court. RJ will pop up for, oh God, this team is so frustrating. There was this play where Scottie was about to take a shot, finds Jamison Battle in the corner for a beautiful three. And that's how you really got back into this game, right? Like taking smart shots, pushing the pace, pushing it down their throat, playing good defense. Scottie with a near block at the rim. That's how you get back into this game. And then I think it was like 2 possessions later, Emmanuel quickly comes down the court. Another transition opportunity where I will apologize to everyone in advance. I am still sick. I may have to mute myself occasionally just to cough. And I just realized I'm almost out of honey water, so I might need to pause for a minute at some point just to get some more. But Emmanuel quickly comes down the court, and he ends up taking a transition 3, somehow ends up getting his own rebound, pitches out to RJ. Jamison Battle is holding his arms up like, hey, man, I'm the only good shooter on this fucking team. I'm the only one. I am the only one that everyone knows if I touch it in this position, it's going in. RJ's like, nah, bro. Bro, sit back. My name is RJ Barrett. And I was once McDonald's All-American player. Shut up. Who are you, Jamison Battle? No, this team, what is the term? Cuts off its nose to spite itself. It is self-implosion. It is bad defense, leaving Trey Murphy open more times than I can count, bad rotations, terrible offensive process, and just not finding shooters in good positions, stagnant offense, poor creation. I mean, this is a bad defensive team. This is one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They started no center. Their center is a non-rim protecting 6'6" Oompa Loompa named Zion Williamson, who is a shell of his former self. Herb Jones, probably the only positive defender in that starting lineup. And you still can't generate clean offense against this team. Now, Missy's a good defender, but that's about it. Derek Queen's not a good defender. Sadiq Bey is okay, I guess. I'll give you that. Sadiq's all right. Matkovic is all right. But Derek Queen's not a good defender. Jeremiah Fears is awful, right? DeJounte's not a good defender at this point. Trey Murphy's an awful defender. Zion's a terrible defender. Like, you had places where you could attack this defense if you had anybody at all who was capable of, I don't know, organizing offense, finding advantages. This is frustrating. For the Pelicans side, let's look at them first. Herb Jones with 16 points, made 4 threes. The Raptors looked at Herb Jones and said, he's shooting 28% from three on the season. Let's leave him open. He was open on almost every one of those threes, including 1 3 where Brandon Ingram just refused to close out and just waved him off. Zion Williamson with 19. Oh, by the way, he does shoot 35% from three on his career, so maybe this is just like a cold shooting season. But just because he's having a cold shooting season doesn't mean Herb Jones can't shoot. Okay, Herb Jones is not a great shooter that you have to run off the line, but he is not a player that you just wave off. There's not Ben Simmons out there. And the Raptors really just did not do well with him. Trey Murphy could have probably gone off for 40, honestly, if we're being honest. Like, he probably could have gone off for a lot more, but he ends up with 28. He is the leading scorer on the Pelicans in the absence of Ingram this year. DeJounte Murray with 27, including a very controversial 3 late in the game over Jamal Shad, in which, he sort of crosses over Jamal Shed. Shed falls down through contact. DeJounte Murray snarls at him, picks up a technical foul. Emmanuel quickly gets all up in his feelings about it. I mean, cool. I mean, I guess people were complaining that no one was standing up for Shed. I mean, Jamal, I don't know. Emmanuel quickly tried to stand up for him, I guess. But you know what? I think I speak for a lot of Raptor fans when I say, if you want to stand up for him, maybe don't get your ass kicked by a bottom feeder. You know what I mean? Pen, do you think we should think of trading Scotty? You want to trade Scotty? You could trade me too. Man, fuck that shit, man. No, you shouldn't trade Scotty. You should have a team that would actually be willing to build around him for once. Maybe put some skill sets around him that actually make some sense. Put some players that, don't over dribble the air out of the basketball. Seems like Scotty hasn't been the same since his personal reasons absence. Well, yes. Was it ever explained what his personal reasons were? Karen, you and I met in person. I probably could have told you in person. I can't tell you over here, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. Overall, they don't get any dominant performances off the bench. Derek Queen with 3 points. Imagine trading what will presumably be a top 6 pick in this year's draft for Derek Queen. I still don't agree with that move. A lot of people on PC think I'm stupid, but I definitely think that's going to be one that backfires. For the Raptors, Emmanuel quickly, a return to form after last night's abysmal shooting performance, 8 for 14. Of course, Emmanuel quickly with Jakob Poeltl is always better without Jakob Poeltl. And shout outs to Jakob Poeltl getting 3 blocks. Haven't seen that in a little bit here, but 5 rebounds. Scotty Barnes with 6 rebounds, 3 of which just fell right into his lap. I think a couple of which were offensive, or at least one was an offensive rebound off his own miss. Scotty just hasn't been the same from a rebounding perspective. He has a triple single tonight in 36 minutes on 4 for 14 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3. Sheesh. Scotty had a really bad game. And it's not like one of those things where you can say, oh, Scotty's doing everything defensively, so we give him a break on offense. Nope, he hasn't been great defensively either. Got blown by multiple times by Zion Williamson, got beat at the rim multiple times, gave up offensive rebounds multiple times. Scotty has not been good. RJ Barrett with a so-so performance, just a typical come to expect this type of game from RJ. 5 for 13 from the field, competed on defense, wasn't anything to write home about. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Brandon Ingram with he breaks his streak of not being over 14 points. Shout outs to Brandon Ingram, but I don't think it was a particularly effective game. 4 steals is a good sight to see. 4 turnovers is happening way too often. And I think so many, right, of Brandon Ingram's turnovers are so self-imposed and a result of just over dribbling, over penetrating, not seeing the game, not seeing the court, just bad, 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 bad. But 22 points on 19 shots. No one's really complaining. 2 for 7 from three. Missed like the last few that he took. But 5 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, if you really want to fight it, you can say he was the Raptors' best player tonight, if that makes you feel any better. Him or Quickly or whatever. But honestly, there was no Raptors' best player tonight. Everyone just almost equivalently sucked. Some people just sucked a little bit more than others. I'm just being honest. Off the bench, you get 9 points from Jamal Shed. That's a nice sight to see. Jamal Shed might have been like his best game in a little bit, which is crazy to say, but true. He hit multiple threes and he was a +7 in a game that the Raptors lost by double digits, in large part because of garbage time. And yeah, Sandro Mamukelashvili, 8 points. Grady Dick with 7 points. Grady came out with a force and fury, fire, defensively at least. He was picking up. He was, getting very handsy defensively, forced the multiple, I think he had 1 steal and, forced another one, which was like akin to a steal, which Scotty ends up getting the steal, credit for the steal, but Grady was a huge part of that defensive play. Gets a breakout, gets a pull-up jump shot in mid-range. I mean, it was a pretty encouraging 8 minutes for Grady Dick, but ultimately the Raptors go to Jamison Battle in the second half. And, Jamison was +12 in his minutes. I think that's the right move. I understand the talent argument, the potential argument, the investment argument, blah, 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 blah. I get all of it, right? She-Wolf saying, third 20-second commercial interruption so far. Did you switch back to YouTube from StreamYard yet? I did. So that is very weird that is happening. I apologize. Yeah, it was just bad. Okay, team stats. Whew. The Raptors took a lot of threes, and they shot 32% from three, which is actually kind of crazy because early in this game they were shooting 25% from three. So it's like 32%. What an improvement! But unfortunately, on the other end, they gave up 48% from three on lower volume. They end up shooting 41% from the field overall. The 1-2-2 zone really stifled this team, and basically they had a complete inability to penetrate. There is a type of player that is missing off this team, and it's kind of frustrating because those types of players might actually be available in the G League if the Raptors were willing to properly invest in one. And the more I think about this draft, I think there's a chance that the Raptors just could benefit so completely from getting one of 2 players in this draft. One would be Bennett Sturts, and the other one being probably Ade Mara. Like one of those 2 guys. I think they would just open up a lot of space. Ben, because he just doesn't kill his dribble, right? And Ade, because he presents a 7'3" lob target, which would probably open up some space. But right now, the Raptors just don't have space to drive. Their shooters don't shoot well enough. Teams are way too happy to gang up in the middle. They have 2 guys who like to take mid-range jump shots in Scotty and BI, and that's who your whole offense and focus is built around. You have a, low-release 3-point shooter who doesn't process the game well and constantly picks up his dribble in Emmanuel Quickley. You have a very one-dimensional left-handed driver in RJ Barrett. And then you have a big who just hasn't really been himself so far in Jakob Poeltl. And I think Colin Murray-Boyles opens a lot of that because he is a pretty okay screener. I wouldn't call him a dominant screener, but a pretty okay screener who rolls really hard. Not a great finisher by any means, but at least defensively, you're able to get a lot more out of your lineups with Colin Murray-Boyles on. So I don't know, man. This is like, let's just take it. I haven't looked at the standings yet. It's gonna hurt my heart. It's here. No, God, no. I feel like Michael Scott. No, I can't believe what I'm looking at. Oh my God. What has happened to my beloved Raptors? 7th. Oh no, we suck again. It's something that hurts my heart so hard, just hitting that line, especially when you factor in that you probably don't have the momentum or juice to catch any of the teams that are currently in front of you. if the Milwaukee Bucks weren't so shit, the Raptors could actually slip out of the play-in completely, but the Milwaukee Bucks are so bad. The Raptors are now in a neck and neck race with the Charlotte Hornets for 10th. I mean, like, I hate to tell you this, man, but if you face the Sixers, the Hawks, or the Hornets in the play-in, you can lose to all three teams in a one-game series. And you really could. That's not even a joke. The only team that I really felt super comfortable that the Raptors could beat was the Miami Heat, and they just passed us. So it's like with the Sixers and Embiid, you don't have a good matchup for Embiid. Unless Marc Gasol comes out of retirement and signs a 10-day, and then maybe you can make Embiid cry a little bit. The Atlanta Hawks present all sorts of problems. I mean, among all these teams, I do think the Raptors are better than the Hawks. But man, a one game against the Sixers with Maxey and VJ, and it's just a tough game. And then I really don't. And look, I've already said it. I don't pick the Raptors over the Hornets. So this is bad. This is really bad. Whew. Okay, let's take a look at some of the things that happened in this bullshit ass game. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Here is a depressing thought. The Raptors are 0-1 against Detroit, 1-1 against OKC, 0-2 against Houston, 0-3 against Boston, 0-4 against New York, 0-2 against San Antonio, 0-2 against Minnesota, and 0-2 against the Lakers. Those are the top teams in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and the Raptors have gotten one win against a completely depleted Thunder team. That's bad. Okay, I have some thoughts about Bam's 83, which I may not have shared last night. Listening to the panel today kind of crystallized a few things for me, but yeah, little did I know this would be the high point of Scottie's entire night. A little turnaround, little jump shot over Zion Williamson. That was cute. Here I said, great transition offense. Beautiful. Again, there was no Penstradamus tonight. I could not have, in my wildest imagination, I couldn't have thought that the Raptors would be down 16. I definitely thought losing this game was possible, but being down 16 and getting completely killed like this, I didn't see that. Now I love this. This is this team trusting itself and trusting each other. Look at Scottie, right? Look at RJ. Look at IQ. This is perfect. So pass the ball, this cross court here. Now again, dangerous pass, always a dangerous pass. And Manuel quickly does not know that Saddiq Bey is not going to pick this off, but Saddiq not looking. And here's Scottie slows down instead of extending all the way through, and then makes this pass, risky pass. So 2 risky passes, but it results in good process and a dunk for Brandon Ingram to get him going early. The Raptors obviously want to take concerted efforts. Now, this is where I get frustrated with Brandon Ingram. This is going to be a 2-part breakdown of his offensive and defensive process. And I hate this shot. I really do. Look, this is a great shot when you're going. This is a great shot when, when you've got a rhythm, when you've already hit 3 or 4 in a row. This is a heat check shot. There's really nothing to be gained by taking a shot this early in the process against their only really good defender in Herb Jones. And here it's a pull away. You get decent separation, but man, Ingram is capable of making that shot, but like you can also find that shot at any point. Why? And look at the Raptors, look at everybody else on the court when he decides to do this. Look at Quickly. Is Quickly doing anything? No. Is RJ being guarded? No. The entire team is able to just sort of gang up on him, and Derek Queen is not really willing to or close out to Mamu, and it's just like it's too predictable. It's too easy to stop. And make matters worse, get back on the defensive end here, and they're going to find a much better shot than you, which is a wide open catch and shoot all the time in the world 3 for Herb Jones. Ingram refuses to close out, and I don't know. Anyways, a little bit of good Grady, shall we say? Good Grady taking a charge on Derek Queen. That is not for the faint of heart, man. And here, Grady punishing DeAndre Jordan for being ancient and hitting that little pull-up jump shot. in the mid-range. If you recall last year when Grady was going well, when things were going well for Grady Dick, that's his game. He is a mid-range scorer, right? Show wide open missed corner threes from Scotty, says Medved Ted. I don't know why you want to hate watch it. No one is confusing Scotty for being a great 3-point shooter. But, I mean, if we're going to do that, do we want to clip the almost airballed free throw from RJ Barrett? Want to clip the consistently missed shots from Ingram where he hijacks the offense and goes one-on-one and then turns into a 1-on-3 and then coughs it up? Like, again, there are no heroes in this game. I don't understand anybody trying to victory lap their guy over anyone. Everyone kind of sucked in this game. The only guy you could say didn't completely suck was probably Emmanuel Quickley. Anyways, here, this is good defensive process from Grady. Here, he is getting beat by Trey Murphy, but Scotty is able to poke this away, and that is going to turn into, I mean, the steal is credited to Scotty, which is interesting because the steal is really Grady's. So Scotty gets a fake steal there. I said crash out pod incoming. And really, this is when I kind of started to lose faith that the Raptors are going to win this game. Now, what do you really want to do here? Zion isn't really guarding anybody at this point. He's not helping. He's not really in a position to recover out to Scotty. And here, Ingram is probably thinking score. But what should he be doing? He should be making a pass to Emmanuel Quickley. This is the shot that Emmanuel Quickley can hit. DeJounte Murray has his back to Quickley. So shot fake and then think about the pass here. But you're not going to do that. And instead, against Herb Jones, once again, you decide to try and go up against one of their best defenders. He takes it away, and boom. It's not even he takes it away. He just completely cough it up. I said there's so much wrong with this. There is so much wrong with this. First of all, very unclean, unserious pass. Here, RJ Barrett, do you see somebody kind of creeping into this passing lane because everybody in the world knows right now that you're trying to get him the ball? Boom. So first of all, Ingram on the catch, just a horrible position to catch the ball. Herb Jones all over him, haven't done anything to get him off the ball, haven't done anything to get their best defender off of him. This is exactly what they want. They want Ingram just driving into a congested paint with Herb Jones as the primary. Now here, Ingram is going to pass quickly for whatever reason, decides, I'm not going to shoot this shot. I'm going to penetrate too. But the paint is congested, genius. There's already two guys down there. You have nowhere to go. So now he wants Scotty to come for a dribble handoff. Scotty starts coming for a dribble handoff. No, never mind. I'm going to do something else right now. So Scotty's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just look at Scotty's body language. It's like, what are you doing? And here Quickly just says, okay, screw it. I'm going to take the shot myself. Emmanuel Quickley plays what Kobe Bryant called random basketball. Emmanuel Quickley is the definition of random basketball. He don't know what he's doing. Nobody else knows what he's doing. And I fundamentally think even on games where he has 25 points that he's the biggest culprit for why the Raptors lose games. Like, it's just, it's inescapable that having him on the ball is going to be bad for your offense. And I don't understand why when this team plays well, it is almost consistently Scotty running the offense and Emmanuel Quickley taking shots off the ball. Why does this team consistently cut off its nose to spite itself? That's what I don't get. I know what works. They know it works. Why do we allow Scotty to be a corner spacer when it's so clear that Scotty should be a center initiator, that Scotty should be a post hub in this offense? It's frustrating. It's genuinely stupid. And I don't know, and again, this is just a difference in process. And this is a difference in understanding. They say KYP, know your personnel, right? Now here, Scotty has drawn a considerable amount of attention for a guy who is supposedly a zero-level scorer. Now, Scotty right here, out of the corner of his eye, as he's thinking about shooting over Zion Williamson, catches that Jamison Battle has lost Carlo Matkovic and is going to the corner. Matkovic is not going to return, he's not going to return to that corner. And so Jamison Battle gets a nice clean look off of Scotty's passing. And that is the right idea. No, of course, I would rather Jamison Battle get a wide open three than Scotty get a contested pull up too. But nobody else on this team seems to have that selfless spirit other than maybe Jamal Shed. Here, Emmanuel quickly decides, I'm going to take a pull up, and I don't really have a problem with this shot. Whatever. You're wide open. You've got okay rebounding position. I don't mind it. Now, because of this long shot, long rebound thing, now look at Emmanuel quickly here. You have two options. Okay. Two options, you fucking dumbass. Option number one, throw it to the guy who just hit the last three, who's wide open, begging for the basketball. Option number two, throw it to your fucking friend. God, I hate this dude. I swear to God, some people say I hate Quickly. I don't hate Quickly. I hate the way he plays. This is one of the dumbest plays in the world. You're right there. It's 93, 95. Get this fucking three to Jamison Battle, and this is the beginning of the end for the Raptors. Right here. Holy fucking shit. Do you know how dumb you have to be to throw it to RJ Barrett in this position over Jamison Battle? Do you know who the fuck your teammates are? I'm sorry. This play drove me insane. And I'm sorry, like I can see people just being like, oh, Rob, I'm not for this energy right now. No, you're going to get this energy because this is stupidly frustrating. I have kept my composure for the most part this season. I have tried to be the emotionally mature podcaster who is above crashing out, but this is like next level stupidity. You're not debating between a shooter and a not, you're not like, oh yeah, this is not the same thing as, oh my God, there's Grady Dick and there's Scotty Barnes, two 30% three-point shooters. Even though in that case, I think you'd be stupid to choose Scotty Barnes. This is not, oh, there's Steph Curry on one side and Klay Thompson on the other side. No, this is like there's Draymond Green on one side and there's Steph Curry on the other side. And you know what? I'm going to pass to Draymond Green because Draymond Green and I are good friends. This is insanity. Does anyone want to guess who he passed to here? Of course. Now you, number 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9, whatever the fuck your names are, you can also make this skip pass to the corner. You can also make this pass. You are guarded. The best shooter on the court is not guarded. You can also make this pass. You could drive and then kick it out to the corner. You won't do that though. And I don't think I've seen Jamison Battle this animated about being open in my life. And I watched a fair bit of him in college. I don't think I've ever seen Jamison Battle being so like, give me the ball. He was open for a good 3 seconds. And these two are just like, nah, you know what? I got it. Not even close. Not even close. So pardon me if I'm not going to be mad at Scotty Barnes for kind of like just having bad body language on this one. I said, quit your 9 to 5. Once again, Emmanuel quickly with this preconceived notion that, you know what? Me and RJ, we're the real stars here. Okay. You're trying to pass to Brandon Ingram. What is this? First of all, Ingram, back cut, something. Why are you standing in the corner? Number 2, how was that pass ever supposed to get to him? I'll tell you right now, based on the trajectory of that pass, if that's not stolen, I'm pretty sure that ball is going out of bounds. That's not even close to on target. That's crazy. That is truly insane. And it results in a wide open 3 for the best shooter on the court. Because, of course, why would anyone guard Trey Murphy from 3? I don't think I've seen Trey Murphy get this many open 3s in years. This is insane. Then flash forward to the next possession. Don't you worry. Manuel quickly got you. Remember 9 to 5? 5 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 5. Here. Now, here comes 9 to 5. 9, set a screen for 5. 5, pass it back to 9. This is, oh my God, send these 2 dudes back to New York, dude. Just send them back to New York. I will pay for the shipping. Just please. My God. RJ Barrett not learning the same lesson that Grady should have learned in the first half when he got perma-benched. Grady Dick, which I did not clip, by the way, decided to take Eve Missi one-on-one and then try to fucking float her over him. I don't know if these guys just don't watch the NBA. I don't know if they don't know who Eve Missi is, but it is kind of insane to consistently challenge the best shot blocker in the game with these soft-ass layups. What did they teach you about a shot blocker? You go into their body. You don't put up this kind of seafood platter, which results in this momentum breaking. Like, I understood when the Raptors, checked Ingram back in that this game was over. But there's no reason to believe that you should be giving up on a game like this at 111.99 with 4 minutes to go against a team that, by the way, has given up a lot of leads in the fourth quarter in the Pelicans. They allowed the Pelicans to feel good about themselves. Zion Williamson gets a wide open dunk, and that's all she wrote, man. And I said, leaving, and here, this is just a uncontrolled blitz of the basketball from Immanuel Quickley. And obviously the backline rotation needs to recover, help. And at this point, Scottie needs to sprint, or Ingram needs to sprint. Ingram needs to sprint to the corner. Scottie then needs to tag Ingram's man. So Scottie goes down, Ingram goes to the corner. But of course, none of that is going to happen because Ingram is just too content, just waiting for a rebound so he can get his chance on offense again. And look who's open again. That's Trey Murphy III. Once again, the best three-point shooter in the building is left open for three with not a defender within 20 feet of him, and you're still technically trying to catch this game. This is a 4-possession game, and that is putting it generously, of course. This is a 4-possession game with 2.5 minutes to go, and this team fucking quit. They quit. They quit on this game. That is a big charge to lay, but the way they played this game down the stretch in the last 4 minutes, this is a team that had absolutely zero belief that they had a chance in hell to win this game. And that is the most disappointing thing about this. It's not that you lost to the Pelicans. I understand how you lost to the Pelicans. You're on second night of a back-to-back. They're playing their best basketball of the season. They're relatively healthy. They've massively underperformed, and they have now won 7 of the last 11 games. I understand they're a winning team after the All-Star break. They probably have more talent on their roster, which is a depressing statement, but also very true. They have a lot of young talent. Fine. They have better shooting than you. Fine. Jordan Poole didn't play. Just want to be clear about that. Jordan Poole did not play for this team. I shudder to think what Jordan Poole would do to this team. But anyways, shocking. And I said, this is officially rock bottom. Like, this is just DeJounte Murray with that funky ass shot snarling down on my beloved Jamal Shed. Immanuel Quickley decides, no. You ain't gonna do my young gun like that. Well, that's about as much fight as the Raptors showed all game. Classic Major is calling in. Classic Major, what's up, man?
Okay, am I live?
Yeah, you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I don't know why I can't hear you. Yeah.
Okay, Classic Major. If you see this on YouTube, here's my suggestion to you. When you come into StreamYard, you go to your when it shows you like the audio settings, you have to click mic and speaker. Just make sure for your speaker you select your headphones, provided you have headphones. You can try to call in again. We'll be here for a little bit. How did nobody but IQ do something? That is a good question. That is a good question. Damn. I guess Immanuel Quickley, the only dog on this team. AG saying reset permissions on browser. Sure, but then you're running the point like, okay, we got Classic Major calling back in. Classic Major, what is up? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Yeah, so honestly, when I first well, first off, this is actually my first time calling, so I just want to say I appreciate your channel. I've been listening for about around the 2022 season area. So I know where you were, your stance around that time. So I want to say you came a long way, and I really appreciate what you're doing for the Raptors organization and the fan base. So shouts out to you.
Appreciate that.
Problem, man. But my whole thing was like, mainly I just wanted to kind of, vent because I've been watching the Raptors closely for about a few years now. And I know a lot of the things like with us, like we don't really have star players and stuff like that.
If I could ask you to just not move your mic around so much, if you can, if that's possible.
I had my headphones on, but I couldn't hear you there.
No. Your microphone, like whatever you're speaking into, it's rumbling a lot. So like if you just move it up and then
Okay.
yeah, just set it up there. Yeah, it's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, so my train of thought I was trying to say was I know we don't really have the star players and stuff like that to really, because even, yeah, sorry if I'm jumping to other you know uh examples, but when we had Kawhi and that team, you know what I mean? Like we had a star player and good pieces around that. So whenever we went up against other teams that had star players, it was a lot easier for us to, compete on a level. And then once we got ourselves rolling, then we're just like, okay, we can compete with these guys. We're ahead of these guys. And I believe we built that up from around, 2013 when that all started or whatever. And we got it to the championship and capped it off there.
Right.
But I believe we also continued that up until obviously we decided to trade Pascal and go in that different direction or whatever. So that's why when I said I started listening to you in 2022, I know where your stance was around that time, and you know what I mean. And I listened to you just so I can hear from that perspective. And a lot of things you said was right, and we ended up going in that direction, which is fine or whatever. But my whole frustration is now is, well, basically, let me just ask you a question of what I really want. I don't want to just ramble here. My question for you is basically, do you think that we can salvage this season to continue that just like heartbeat? Because even I kind of quit when, sorry, like I said, sometimes like I just have a whole thing on this the Raptors, so I look at it on an overhead view. So when you had said just a while ago that we quit on the game in the fourth, I also noticed that we quit in the third. Did you notice that too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, because and I'm trucking right now. Right now I'm actually in my truck, so I actually had stopped to watch the game because we were close around like halftime and stuff, and I knew we needed this game. And I know it's not to say, oh, we need to win this game, but realistically, we needed to win yesterday's game and today's game,
Mm.
even though pieces and stuff like that. But for us to continue that, to have some type of belief to finish off the season strong, I
Right.
really needed yesterday's game and today's game. Whatever, we dropped yesterday's game. The Rockets needed that win too. We were out Yak and our bigs, whatever. But today's game, it was just. And then I also listened to what you said. Like today is actually a game that we could drop too, but I just needed to see that heartbeat was still there, and the fact that we kind of quit in the third, and then I started driving. Then I look at the score and it's tied up. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to stop and watch this. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just give it a little bit more just in case. I hate stopping and watching the game and just to watch them blow it away. So I said, whatever. Let me give it 2 more minutes. I look at the score, we're down 12 or whatever. I'm like, my gosh, we actually lost the plot. And so I didn't even get to see DeJounte Murray standing over Jamal Shed like that.
Right.
That was so insane. So I just feel like after all of that and after this game, do you think that we have it? And you explained everything that I want to vent about today, like with just the way our roster is set up, the players that we have, how we're trying to play and how we can't really play like that with the players. So I understand all that. But just from everything that we built up as a Raptors culture, do you think that this team can muster up something to finish off the rest of the season strong, even with all the, the stuff that we got to deal with, as in like our players and how we play and stuff like that? Sorry for the long ramble.
I think there needs to be a moment, with this team where they have a honest conversation about what they want to do. Because I think they want to do a lot of things right now. And I think the trade deadline was a little bit unsettling for some of the guys because, I look at guys like RJ and IQ and they knew that they were obviously being shopped and then they don't get traded. So it's a little bit of an awkward situation where it's like their representation knows that they were shopped. They were not traded. They're not really thinking about let's build this up for the next 4 years. The kind of cool thing about the Raptors when they started We the North is most of the guys had that investment of like, we're going to be here for a few years. I don't think RJ and Emmanuel quickly see it that way. I think they're kind of like thinking about like, okay, let's be the best that we can be for ourselves because we're probably going to be in a different situation next year.
think,
So the honest conversation needs to just be like a situation where, you know, they say like, how do we find better spots? How do we find a better flow? How do we find a pecking order within this offense where Scottie is now consistently the fourth or fifth guy in terms of shots taken every
right.
single night? Because I don't know where you fall on the how good you think RJ Barrett thing is, but I don't think RJ's a better player than Scotty Barnes at all.
I don't either, but it's just the tenacity and the aggression has that way over Scotty, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the tenacity and aggression doesn't change the fact that he's going to get stuffed at the rim and that he makes very predictable moves and drives and that he's not a pull-up jump shooter and he's still not a good three-point shooter. Like that shot where he passes up or at least quickly passes up a chance to pass to Joe who just hit his last three to get RJ the ball. And it's like there's players who are recipients of offense and players who are generators of offense. I feel Scotty could be a very effective recipient of offense if they wanted him to be in, you know, in those recipient situations. But as the season has gone on, he's been less and less so a recipient of offense. That's how I see it. Like he could set a screen, he could dive to the rim and catch and then dunk. And in that situation, I think he would be a better finisher around the rim than RJ and Emmanuel quickly. But unfortunately, that's not really where his role is right now. Where his role is a conduit and a connector of offense, occasionally a generator of offense with worse lineups. And to me, that's really frustrating because he's obviously not a better generator of offense, especially in the half court than Emmanuel Quickly or Brandon Ingram. But he is probably the best recipient of offense inside the arc that this team has. Like he can finish around the rim really well. He can pass out of the situations really well. And earlier in the season, when that was going strong, like there were stretches of the season where he was averaging 23, 24 points per game. And then now we're in a situation where it's like 15, 20 games where he's barely cracking the 20. And to me, that's just like, it's partially on him for sure. You could say, like, well, why don't he just grab and go? But it's partially how this offense is using him too, you know? So I don't know. I think this team needs to run around Ingram and Barnes. I just don't think that those two have really figured it out yet either. I think they need to have a conversation. They need to figure out how to play off of each other. Because right now it feels like they just kind of get in each other's way.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's something you can't even put a finger on because you can put your finger on here, but then it's just like RJ with his, limits, and then quickly not knowing how to run offense, and BI just taking forever to get his shot up. And it's just, and then our bench is like, oh my God, it's so many things. But I don't know. I just feel like, because even with the last, let's say, with OG and Pascal and Scotty and who did we get rid of Schroeder at that time? But whatever. But just that 41 and 41 team, like, it was kind of like this. Like we went a lot of that season without a center, but we still like pushed through, and we did manage to beat a lot of big teams that year. So it was just so frustrating that, like, just so dead into the middle. And it's just like I looked around at all the other teams that like are the middle teams, and they're getting a few wins against, like, big teams. I'm just like, why is it that this team is just hitting that wall when it comes?
Well, you've been here since 2022, you said. Like, you've listened to some of the stuff that I've said since 2022. So, yes, I was staunchly for moving Pascal and Fred and firing Nick Nurse and all that stuff, right? But part of the reason for that was because I wanted this team to bottom out. I wanted this team to tank. I wanted this team to have a chance at Wemby, Steph Castle, but they missed on all those drafts. In the Wemby draft, they end up with Grady Dick. Now, like, how many Grady Dicks does it take to, achieve Wembanyama? Probably a million. You get a million Grady Dicks, and I'd still take Victor Wembanyama, but also Amen Thompson, Derek Lively, Cason Wallace. There's so many good players in that draft that we just didn't have a chance at. Asar Thompson, like shit, with this team, with Asar would be elite, right? Asar is a great athlete, he's a great defender. So I look at that and I'm just like, that's a missed opportunity to build around Scotty when you knew, when you drafted Scotty, that you were going to pivot direction when that team ran into the wall. Trading for Jakob Pertl, then missing out on the draft, trading away draft picks, losing draft picks, and then the draft picks we have had, we've drafted a lot of players who can't shoot, can't generate offense. So it's like, at any point, if you decide that you get in a Steph Castle You know what I mean? Like someone like that, who could just kind of handle the ball a little bit and just get into the paint, finish. Getting a player like that would change the fortunes of this team completely. But instead, we go away from the pick heavy package for OG and we want a player heavy package because, we think we're geniuses and we want Emmanuel Quickly and, RJ Barrett. And I just feel like we've gone about this the very wrong way. And it's interesting to me that over the last 5 years, we've had 2 trades with the San Antonio Spurs and their future looks so bright because they did it the right way. They traded some really good players away. They traded Jakob Poeltl, Derek White, Thaddeus Young. They traded serviceable vets away. They traded DeMar DeRozan away. They did a lot of tough decisions to secure their future. Those are the tough decisions we didn't make. And, if there's any positive lining right now, it's that the Raptors really, really need CMB to win games. And he was the 9th overall pick. So at least your 9th overall pick is working out. But yeah. Anyways, man, any final thoughts?
Yeah, the reason why I asked it just for this season, because I know like the way we play is really just the players that we need to swap out, honestly. Like I like Ingram, but I mean if we can find something good for Ingram with the All-Star and if you can finish out the season good, maybe we shouldn't stick on to him for too long. 1 year, get your value back up. We got you an All-Star, so there's no like hard feelings between us. Maybe
Mhm.
we but yeah, but what I want to say with that is once we swap those players out and we play the way you've been describing, because one thing I want to give you credit to, the way I watch the games now, sometimes I'm watching as if I'm watching your breakdown. So I'm looking and I'm actually seeing where people are actually fucking up at. I'm just like, wow, like it's really tough. And just especially with the Raptors, I feel like we're just like a log jam. If we can just have a 1-2 couple of plays where things just go right and we continue on that, we can break this whole thing wide open. But just self-inflicting wounds, and it's just today's game was pretty sad, and I'm kind of happy I didn't get to see that Jamal Shed flex because that would have really pissed me off. That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I do think there are some players on this team that do fit kind of like how we want to play basketball, but there's no second star right now for Scotty that you could build with. But I think the second star that you want to build with him is probably a guard who can penetrate, shoot, dribble, pass, shoot,
Yeah.
like a really dynamic. Like I keep thinking about Kyrie Irving. He might just be a little too old at this point, but like Kyrie and Scotty would just be such a perfect fit. And then just, when you're a basketball savant like Scotty Barnes, it really helps to have another basketball savant on your team that you could speak the same language on basketball with, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like you trying to have basketball savant conversations with Emmanuel Quickly. That's just tough, man. Anyways, thanks a lot for calling in. Good luck with the trucking, man.
Thanks, appreciate it. Take care.
Peace, man. Coach Mo, what up, yo?
Man, I've been watching every Raptors game for a few years now. It's rare I miss a game.
You missed tonight?
Bro, I missed like the first 3 quarters. I was like, oh, because I actually record the games because I want to bypass commercials and I want
No,
to
I
be
got you.
behind by like 30 minutes so I can just speed through it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm too old to just sit through commercials in halftime. Those days are gone for me, right?
Okay, can we just confirm one thing? Are you younger than me?
I am. You're almost 40, right?
I'm 38.
Okay, I'm 2 years younger than you.
You know what pissed me off so hard today? I was
What?
about to make a joke about DeAndre Jordan being old, and then I realized he was actually a year younger than me. I was fucking so mad. I was so mad. I was like, motherfucker. My greatest flex in life right now is that Ronda Rousey is technically older than me. That's
I knew
that sucks, man.
I knew I was getting older when you create your player on 2K, which I don't even play anymore, but
Yeah.
you remember when you made them like your age?
Yep.
And then at a certain point you couldn't do that anymore?
Dude, I used to make them way older than me. So I used to make my players 21 when I was 14. That's how long I've been playing 2K, since I was 14 years old.
But
Yeah.
so we lost to the Rockets last night, and I remember recording the game, and then I was watching a show, and then I paused the show, and I was just like doing some chores around the house,
Mhm.
and then I was like, why am I gonna watch the Raptors beat the Pelicans in a meaningless win? It's like, why am I even rushing? Why am I
You thought the Raptors
revolving
were
my
gonna win
day?
this game.
Yeah, no. But that was my thought. My
Okay.
thought was, why am I revolving my evening to these idiots? Right?
Okay.
So I'm watching the show, and then I was like, you know what? Since I'm an addict, right? I'm addicted to this team, and it's not good for me right now. So I'm like, let me just take a peek. It's probably the fourth quarter right now,
Yeah.
bro. We're freaking down like 9.
That's actually on the come up. We were down 16. And also, I just want to say, AG 2K26, Rob looks 10 years younger than his age. Pause. That is not a pausable offense, my friend. You can heterosexually say another man looks younger than his age without it being a pausable offense. You do not need to pause for that. If you go further than that, you might need to pause. But
Well,
that is not a
he's
pausable
saying
offense.
we look
That is
good.
just a nice thing to say about your favorite podcaster, and I will not tolerate any pause on that.
It's the Puma hat, though.
The Puma hat making me look younger?
Yeah, I think it's the Puma hat.
That might be it.
And clean shaven.
Clean shaven, looking younger. Yeah, I mean, sure, that's just part of it. But I'm just saying, I actually have some skincare routines for people after. I'm gonna give y'all some. I'm gonna put y'all in game for cool skincare routine.
So
That's been helping out a lot. But
I
continue
wanna-
on shitting on our favorite team, please.
I want to address the last caller. Shout out to the truck driver. My take on this season is burn it to the ground. I hope it goes horribly wrong. Bro, I'm like, and hear me out. And this is a good reason, because I care about this team and I want them to be good.
Hoping it goes horribly.
I
Okay,
hope it goes horribly wrong. I don't want Bobby Webster to even have any chance of thinking something is happening here. I want that guy to look in the mirror and be like, we fucked up big time. I need asses on fire this offseason. Jobs on the line. That's what I need. Pause. But because if they, you know how in the beginning of the season, I mentioned how this team is saving Bobby Webster's job?
Yep.
Like, this should not be going as well as it's going.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Bobby. So I think he's inept and I want him exposed. I actually want a good team. I want players that fit.
That's another possible offense.
What did I say?
You want him exposed.
I want him exposed. Yeah. Pause.
Dude, do you see what you started here? You started a pause train.
Yeah, I need what's his name to come and say keep going.
Chill. You need
I need chill time.
Focus, Ron.
I need chill time.
Focus.
But
as you were saying,
I need players that are going to be here long term. And bro, I had the same thought the other day watching this team, and I'm like, there's only 3 guys I care about on this team: Scotty, CMB, and Jacoby. That's it.
That's my list too.
I swear I don't care about another player on this team. I don't. And I was a fan of Shed. There's a lot of guys I used to like. Bro, I'm done.
I still like Jamal Shed.
Me too. But the reality has set in for all of us. This dude's a third stringer at best.
What about Jameson Battle?
He needs to hit like 90% of his threes. And at that point, they just run him off the line. They just wouldn't let him shoot. And they just attack him.
Yeah, I think CMB and Scotty is like a promising future duo if your goal is to be like the 8th team in the conference forever. You need something a lot better next to those guys. You really need a third player. And that third player has to be at least as good a prospect as like a Con Knipple for it to matter. And I'm sorry, you're not getting Con Knipple with the 15th pick in this year's draft.
You're not.
So like, I mean, if we were to do a future ranking, I will just remind you that this team that we just faced, they will be surrendering their presumably top 6 pick to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks that are currently pretty much tied with us.
Yeah.
And are a pretty young team that just signed Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Oh, like I would love to have Nickeil Alexander-Walker on this team.
And it's I don't know what to do with Brandon Ingram, because you mentioned it today, and I think the last live, I've noticed the plus minus with that guy has been bad for a while. And the longer the season has gone on, it's been more and more obvious why the advanced stats don't like this guy.
I still believe in my heart. Oh God. Shout out to Brian. Congrats on the new job, my guy. If you wanna
Oh my
if
God.
if you ever want to call in, I'll appreciate we would appreciate your thoughts on this insane season. But yeah, like this season certainly felt a lot better when Brian and I last had our last video. This has been bad. This has been bad since the but look, like I keep looking at this thing. It was against all the good teams, against Detroit,
Yep.
against this team. The Raptors are winning their minutes when Scotty's on the court. It's these non-Scotty minutes. And to anyone who says it's because of lineups, I will remind you, it is Scotty who has been tasked with the floor raising bench unit lineups. It's been Scotty with the Jamal Shed plus Grady plus Jamison plus Sandro lineups. So
and making like 2 to 3 horrible defenders lineups work.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a taxing job. Like to do that without CMB. Jacoby's I would say this, Jacoby looks a lot better than he is defensively on this team because everyone else is just so ass.
Even
though
like, he rips the ball.
Because you know, like when Jacoby checks in for Grady, it's just like,
oh my
like
God,
you going from a Pinto to a Honda Civic, so you know it feels good, right? So it feels better. But if Jacoby Walter was on the OKC Thunder, he'd be like their 9th, 10th best defender. That's not even gassing it. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's so many opportunities. And again, there's a type of player this team needs desperately, and that type of player is available all the time. I swear to God, Jared McCain, as much as I have issues with his defense.
God, why didn't we get him? What did they get him for anyway? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a late first round pick, which will be like the 26th pick in this year's draft.
That dude is better than all your prospects that you've drafted the past like 4 years.
He's not better than CMB, but he is a shot creator. And that's what I'll say is you desperately need. I mean, it just sounds so stupid in a game of basketball to say, you know, the type of player that the Raptors really don't have is a guy who can dribble, pass, shoot, right? Like, it just sounds so stupid to say that. Because, again, in theory, Brandon Ingram can dribble, pass, shoot, but his handle is so high and his blow-by rate is so bad and his processing, you know, it's such a weird thing with Ingram. Like, I was sold on the idea that Ingram is a pretty decent processor of the court and has a pretty decent basketball IQ, but he really does fall in love with these really dumbass shots. And for whatever reason, the spacing that the Raptors have around him is just so terrible in terms of how he is utilized relative to the offense. But there is a world in which I fully believe that Brandon Ingram can be a really good player in the NBA.
Okay,
like he's an all-star. Like he just made an all-star team. Was it a valid all-star? Debatable.
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't. He's not one of the 12 best players in the conference. But it's weird. Like for a team with 2 all-stars to not be able to beat the Pelicans in a desperation game feels fraudulent. It feels fraudulent. It feels a little bit weird. But
the fit on this team, it's so bad, especially the starting lineup. And roster construction to me is the number one issue, which goes to the front office. Drafting, strategy of when to tank, when not to tank. Like this is 5 years of inept team management coming together.
Right.
But where does Darko fit on this? I don't think he's the number one culprit, but where's Darko at right now?
You know what? There's a lot of enabling. And to me, I'm one of those people. I'm going to say this. If I'm your friend, I'm going to tell you when you're fucking up. I think that's what good friends are supposed to do. I think good friends are supposed to be the mirror for you. So when you are making a bad investment, when you're marrying the wrong person, when you're like giving up on yourself in a meaningful way and you're not living up to your best self, a bad friend will tell you it's all right. A good friend will tell you you're better than this. You are better than this. So I feel that if I have seen the same bullshit shot selection from Emmanuel Quickley for 2 straight years, and I don't see anyone really correcting it, reining it in, and I see this infection of stupid shot taking pretty much infecting everyone on this roster with the exception of maybe Scotty Barnes and maybe Mamu. I feel like Mamu is just, like I just think there needs to be. I understand coaches collaborating with players, empowering players, trying to give players confidence that way. But what's going to give players real ultimate confidence is winning basketball games and being put in positions to be successful. I don't think the Raptors offense makes a hell of a lot of sense. I would run so much more through Scottie at the elbow, make him more involved. If you go 2 to 3 possessions in a game and he's on the court and he hasn't touched the ball, call timeout. You're fucking up. Like, I understand Scottie is not Luka Doncic. I understand. I get that. I'm not stupid. I get it. Maybe he's not the shot generator right now that Cade is, but he is every bit the playmaker that those guys are. And he is every bit the decision maker and high IQ basketball player that those guys are. So not getting him the touch to keep him involved in the offense, freezing him out of the offense or letting him freeze himself out of the offense,
while the ship is sinking, while the ship is actively sinking.
Right. And you don't get your best player of the basketball. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And even if you want to argue, oh, he's not the best shooter. Okay, cool. He's not the best shooter on the court. He's not the best shot creator on the court. He's not the best, pull-up jump shooter on the court. He is probably your best finisher at the very least. He is definitely your best passer. How can this not be a player that touches the ball 3-4 possessions down the court, 5 possessions down the court as you are actively falling apart? Like, you would have to be so deliberately stupid to not see the difference between how this team plays with Scottie and movement-oriented, fast offensive players.
How many games in a row do they have to see the plus minus?
Oh, and yeah, believe me, I'm quick to say the plus minus can be deceiving, but when it pertains to Scottie on offs, this has been like the trend for like the last 20 games.
Yeah,
you can go back, right? Like there was a game where the Raptors got blown out and they were like plus 15 with Scottie on the court. Like, it's just like, okay, like, you're really losing, and it's not happening in one stint. It's happening in all stints. It's every stint is like this. Anyways, in order to avoid backlog, I'm going to bring WYSO and Lane and
I just want to say one more thing. I just want to say one more thing before these guys chime in. If Darko was really that guy and he wanted to turn this season around, there would have been a lot more fourth quarter benchings, because a lot of coaches have done that to players better than Brandon Ingram. But the fact that no one will ever get benched, it's just lets you know what's going on. The inmates run the asylum for us. To me, that's what I believe.
Double M Productions 1955 said, yo, is there a way for Brian to get a hold of Scottie and letting him know that to get his own shots now because his teammates are looking him off? So, I mean, I'm sure that everyone has at some point or another told Scottie like to get his own. I'm sure Darko was telling him like, take this shot, take this shot, take this shot. My read on this, having watched Scottie now for what feels like half my life, but that's probably not accurate. Watching him since 2000s, almost 10 years now, is that he is a very like team-oriented player, which is to say that if his team is not playing in the right way, it's not like he's just going to take over and play a different way. He's kind of just, that's not to say that he doesn't know what's going on. I'm sure he can see the bad shots. You can see his body language after some of the stupid decisions that his teammates make. You can see the body language after some of the blown defensive coverages. I just think Scottie is like, he suffers from the same thing that a lot of geniuses suffer from, which is that they are very formulaic in their thinking, and they have like an algorithm or a formula for how things should be, ought to be, and they don't improvise super well around it. So he probably has a version of offense that this team should play, and when they're not playing that way, it's very hard for him to figure out like, okay, the game is going this way. How can I still be a super positive impact player? You see that there's a very different Scottie when his teammates are playing his version of basketball, which is upbeat, fast paced, selfless, 0.5 basketball. Like, there's a clear direction. Like, there's a clear synergistic match between Scottie and Darko in terms of how they want to play basketball. Darko is also preaching the same shit. When you listen to Scottie post game and Darko post game, you could literally swap them for each other in terms of what they say every game. So it's kind of weird to me that your star player and your friend and your coach believe the exact same things. Defense wins basketball games. We need to move off the ball very quickly. We need to push the pace in transition. We need to pick up 94 feet. We need to communicate. We need to help each other. All the same things, right? But then you have 3 players on the team that seem to get in the way of what they both want every single game, and nobody cares. Nobody says shit. The inmates truly are running the asylum here, to me. And yeah, I don't know. Lane, Johan, WYSO, what's up, man?
Yo, how we doing, sir?
What's good, Lane?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Just to add on to what you guys were just saying there,
Mhm.
like the points I wanted to make were directly related to what you guys were talking about. I have zero faith in this front office to rebuild properly around Scottie, and that's the only right direction there is to take, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So while Bobby Webster is at the helm and making all of the decisions, I almost hope that they trade Scottie and rebuild. As saying this as a huge Scottie fan, and
does it make you feel any better that they did make a very serious push for Derek White, and that Derek White is pretty much the definition of a perfect Scottie teammate?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that it didn't happen and that they couldn't find an alternative, but yeah.
But they've made so many mistakes though, like past few years. It's been like year after year. Like I just feel like this offseason, they just need a complete teardown. Like they just need to start over. It doesn't mean they gotta trade Scottie, but like it would be smart too, because you can get the most
the problem is it's so tough for us to rebuild properly at this point, given the assets that we have. Like we have our own first round picks, which is awesome, and not every team in the NBA has that. But as far as players,
like just imagine what we can get from him right now. Just imagine the haul we can get from him right now. You know how many championship contender teams would like trade so many of their assets? Like
to get who?
I don't want to. Like I don't want to. I'm not saying this like, oh, I want to trade Scottie. It's like we kind of have no choice, because at this point, this is starting to look the Chris Bosh era. Like,
he's 24, man. Well, this is totally different from the Chris Bosh thing, because he's not on a 3-year deal and he's not expiring anytime soon. He's on the first year of a max deal that runs for 4 more years after this. And also,
he didn't properly build around CB, and how like right now we're not putting right pieces around him. And right now, our ceiling with Scottie, just like how it was with CB, was a lower playoff seeding, right, or a first round exit, right? And we're not properly building around him, and we can't. Like, who are we gonna trade? RJ Barrett, like those. We have nobody in our roster who has value but Scottie. Like, it's just
maybe CMB.
Huh? Okay, of course, yeah, sure.
I get your point.
You get what I'm saying, right? It's just like there's so many guys in this roster. It's just like you can't flip. Like I just feel like this. They just need to start over. They just need a complete start over, and it sucks, because if they just like hit on a few picks, on a few trades, like it's just so frustrating, because
you don't trade a 2-time All-Star at the age of 24 years old when he's got 4 years left on his deal. I'm sorry, especially when you don't have anything to fall back on. Unless you're trading him for like AJ DeBonsa in the draft, and I got news for you, no one's making that trade either. If you make that trade, I'll understand. Any other trade, you'd have to be crazy to do it. Even if you traded him for the 3rd pick or 4th pick and you know, drafted Cam Boozer, you'd be stupid to do this. I think Scottie's the best player on this team, and it's not even close.
Not even
agreed.
So when you trade him, you're conceding to years of rebuilding.
Yeah, remove Scottie from this current team, we're getting a top 3 pick.
Yeah,
like this team is garbage without him.
Like you'll be worse than the Wizards next year. Do you really want what the fuck is next, man? Like Bam Adebayo went out for 83 yesterday. Okay, what's next? Tyler Hero scores 85 on us next year. You want to be that team? Like Scottie papers over. Like we are a top 5, top 6 defense, and that is the only thing keeping us from being a lottery team right now. That is the only thing. There's nothing else. Not half-court offensive creation, not 3-point shooting, not transition offense, nothing. It is only the defense that is keeping us from the territory of Milwaukee Bucks hell right now. So, that's Scottie Barnes.
Exactly, and I get it. Like I'm with you, Pen. Like I don't want to do it, but I feel like the Raptors organization, the front office, Bobby and Masai too, because he deserves some blame as well. They they've let this happen. Like they fucked up huge, like
Sure.
bad. Like, they've not built around him at all, and we're handicapped because yes, we do control all of our first round picks, but this roster is far far from. We don't need one piece. We need a few. We need a lot of guys who can come in, defend, and shoot. This team cannot shoot. I've been saying all year long. This team, yes, we do need size, but once Jakob Poeltl comes back, that won't be an issue, especially with CMB and Jakob Poeltl. What we need is shooting. We need shooting, and we don't have no shooting on the team. You can't survive in today's league with no shooting. Like today, for example, so many times, Sandro, quickly, everyone was open. Scotty, they can't hit perimeter shots, but I'm seeing guys like Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White go for second round picks, and you're telling me we couldn't get those guys? Jared McCain, like just so many guys got traded at the deadline who could provide spacing, and we didn't get none of those guys. And then Darko not playing Jameson Battle more. It's just I'm fed up, and I haven't called in for a while. So
Jackson Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is going on with that? I'm so confused by
Exactly.
that
Like,
situation.
We're not even playing him. Like, what's the point of trading for a guy we're not even gonna play? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah. I get where you're coming from emotionally, but I think maybe this is not like the time to be super emotional. But I understand it. I'm not hating on it. I think you're very wrong. And if you look back on this a year from now, you're gonna probably regret that you said all this. But yeah, I have to go get some cough syrup because I'm very sick, but I'm soldiering through because, as I like to say, we Euros, we don't like to load manage. I'm gonna be back. Y'all continue the discussion without me. I'll be back in like 1 minute.
See, if any one of us or Rob, and this is, I'm being a bit facetious, but if any of us were running the front office, I would love the idea of keeping Scotty and doing a proper rebuild around him. I just don't have the faith that this front office can do that.
Like that's what I'm saying. We need to tear it down. We need to tear down, fire Bobby.
But the problem is, if this front office stays and there aren't changes, and they're the ones who are deciding what to do with a full teardown rebuild as well, I don't really trust them to do that either. I kind of just feel like full on despair at this point.
I'm saying like fire the front office, like get rid of Bobby. Like we need to bring in new people. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't trust.
I think most people are on the same page there. I just don't know if it's gonna happen, or we just have to wait and see.
But you can't tear it down because you can't trade these contracts. I don't think anybody wants Emmanuel quickly at his salary. RJ is probably going to get less in his next contract, most likely. Brandon Ingram is overpaid. You bid against yourself. You basically have to let these contracts expire, or your only hope is to trade them away for less talented players on similar bad contracts, but are better fits with Scotty.
I would do that. And I would do that.
I would do that too. But it's going to be perceived as a downgrade on paper. And you're going to have to trade a bad contract for a bad contract. You're not getting like good contracts back, and you're not getting better players, but you need to get better fits.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. We need more shooting on this team, man. We need more spacing. Like I'm seeing a guy like Jalen Johnson averaging a 24 triple-double, and I'm just like picturing if you just swap Scotty, you put him in that system with the ball in his hands, with all that shooting around him. Like maybe he doesn't have the scoring of a Jalen Johnson. Well, you're telling me he can't put up 20, 10, and 8?
I actually think he's a better scorer than Jalen Johnson. I actually think he's a better scorer.
I don't think. Okay. He actually is a better scorer. I don't think he's a better shooter.
Jalen Johnson's a better 3-point shooter, but again, he only takes wide open threes. Like he's not like hitting threes in people's face. He shoots a set shot, but yeah, he is a better shooter.
Yeah,
but I think Scotty's better at basically everything else.
And I think because his 3-point volume is the reason why his scoring, like, saying from the paper, like that's why he averages more points than Scott, because his 3-point volume is high. But yeah, no, you're right.
But they just feature him. They run everything through him. The entire team knows he's their guy.
And Scotty could be the exact same way, but we have guys like RJ Barrett and Brandon quickly, and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. I personally want all three gone.
Yeah, me too.
If I had to choose one to keep, it's quickly.
I mean,
agreed. And make him completely off ball.
I'm out. And again, we got Brandon Ingram. People have to remember, we got Brandon Ingram for real cheap. The Pelicans didn't want to pay him less than we paid him. They were like, someone take him. There were no bids. I think maybe one other team was interested. He was not desirable.
That is true.
And there's a reason why. These other teams aren't dumb. These other front offices aren't stupid. They just didn't value what he brought to the table, and he was injury prone. And RJ is going to be in the same boat. And if I'm running the front office for the Raptors, I just let RJ expire. Unless I'm blown away by an offer, I'm just going to let him expire.
I'm not.
And he's just an expiring contract, and then maybe you can work something out where you send him somewhere else and it costs you nothing. But other than that, I'm not negotiating an extension with you. You don't fit this team. I'm giving you 20 a year even. There's no point in you being here.
No, I wouldn't sign him back either, like at all. Like
they have to let contracts expire. Brandon Ingram is going to run his course here because no one wants him for what we paid him. He's probably going to be here for 3 full years. These contracts are just going to have to die here because I'm not giving a first-round pick to get off them because this is mediocrity for a couple of years. And we're not getting a lottery pick. So some extremely talented future superstars not walking through the door this summer. So I don't know.
I just don't think if we don't make major moves this offseason, then we're wasting Scotty's prime. And
okay, so you're going to mortgage the future because that's all you can do is trade first round picks. There's nothing here worth trading unless it's Scotty.
Well, if the smart move is to keep Scotty, then yeah, you got to make some tough decisions and make moves around him. Like you can't just sit and coast with Scotty.
And how valuable are your current first round picks? Teams are going to want future picks because we're not going to be bottom feeders.
At all.
So teams are going to be like, I want your picks 3 years from now.
I just want to know, like,
right.
Where did this front office go wrong? Like, they were
trading for Jakob Poeltl.
Oh, yeah. That was the beginning of the end.
Like, literally,
Fred VanVleet. Honestly, you want to know where this team went wrong? I'll tell you right now where this team went wrong. This team went wrong by letting the inmates run the asylum and giving a nice little clear blueprint to the entire league that we are willing to let players like run it. Yep. You know, Fred VanVleet completely choking the entire offense to chase a bag, and the Raptors did nothing. It's a nice little bat signal to the entire league that you can just come here and do whatever the fuck you want, and there's not going to be any accountability. It's not like Fred VanVleet got benched for it. No, he got rewarded for it, and it just carried from there. Okay, it's the same thing with Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby sort of soft quitting on this team. Pascal Siakam refusing to buy into the offense. It's whatever the hell it is. There is an aversion from the players on this team to buy into this is Scotty's team. Whoever you bring into this team, they just don't seem to.
And
agree.
It's still happening after Masai's gone. It has to be Bobby, right?
It's basically, I feel, after the championship run that this front office and this organization kind of became Bobby Webster's organization. And I think that's been sort of just the direction of this team since then has been very different. Again, like I was able to pretty much successfully call all of Masai's picks, but the Grady thing kind of threw me off guard. And it just felt like there's a shift. Grady Dick did not feel like a Masai Ujiri pickup. That felt like a Bobby Webster being smarter than everybody, thinking he's smarter than everybody type of thing. So I don't know.
Draft? What do you think would have been a Masai draft pick that year Grady was drafted?
It's a good question.
Would Masai have picked Keontae George?
That's what I was about to say. I was like, would he? I don't know. He doesn't really value like shot creation, stuff like that.
Let's see. What would a Masai pick have been? Let's see. I think a Masai pick would have been Brandon Pajemski. Whoever's typing, please mute yourself. Brandon Pajemski, maybe Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah.
These feel like more. And I'm not saying like Kobe Buffkin would have been a better pick than Grady at all. But again, like we missed out on Derek Lively by 1 pick. It does hurt. It does hurt, you know.
Is there any fear that a new GM just won't respect Scotty the same way Bobby will?
No, I don't think so. I think the sentiments around general managers are that Scotty is a really, really great player if you have the right pieces around him. I think that he's elevated himself as a two-time All-Star and a franchise player at this point and a max player that an incoming GM is not going to have the same opinions on him that a lot of this fan base does, right? They're going to understand the weaknesses, obviously, but they're going to understand the potential.
Mhm.
They're going to see the value in it. In fact, anyone who takes this job, my first question to them would be, how do you feel about Scottie Barnes and what would you do better?
Yeah.
Like, what would you put around him that we haven't done over the last 3 years?
You know
And
what
the
I feel?
second I hear Kyrie Irving, I'm hiring that person.
You know what I
But
feel?
honestly, I need to see a Derek White level thing. Like you were saying that might have been in the talks or whatever. Like they were trying to make that happen.
Sure.
Well, I need to see something like that this summer from Bobby. Otherwise, like I already have very, very low hopes. I'm not optimistic at all about the future. I need to see something like that. Otherwise, I'm like giving up as a fan until the front office changes. Like it's just too hard to watch.
You know what's crazy? To speak on what you were saying about if they hire new front office and their thoughts on Scotty, I feel like because with the new ownership and Rogers, like maybe they want to start all over again. Maybe they would hire a GM who's willing to rebuild and tear everything off. That he may be, willing to trade Scotty Barnes. You never know. Like,
Yo, Hans, you've tried this little trade Scotty thing like 5
no,
times now.
no.
No. You keep going on this. I'm gonna tell you right now. I want to stop having that discussion because it ain't happening. It's not realistic. It ain't happening. I definitely don't want it to happen. You might want it to happen because
want
you're
it to
left. No. I understand. I understand your position. Your position is I don't want to do it, but he's the only valuable player, and we're not building around him. We're back to the Chris Bosh days. I disagree. Simply put, I disagree. But we've gone over this conversation 5 times, so I'm going to say let's move on from that conversation and let's start talking productive shit because there's a lot of teams that are feeling this crunch of the CBA right now, and I think there will be players that are available that fit better. Now, look, the Raptors with Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, they ended up getting a whole bunch of pieces, none of which were superstars, but they were just pieces that fit better around those two, right?
That's kind of like what Coach Mo was saying. Just like trade down for players that fit better or whatever.
Exactly. And
How much
it's
money-
not like it's impossible to find players that fit better. Al Horford is a player that fits better.
But it's going to have to be a bad contract. You're going to trade an undesirable contract for an undesirable contract, and they're probably going to be less talented on paper, but they're going to have to be a better fit.
And I will do that.
That's what they're going to have to do if you want to not add a pick. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? You traded away the 2 best fits next to Scotty.
That's crazy. No, they actually did, especially OG.
OG and Anobi and who?
Pascal Siakam.
I don't think Siakam was that great.
I disagree.
The analytics will severely disagree with that. They were great on the court together.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say
they were amazing on the court
They
together.
were cool, but even they needed a dynamic point guard that neither one of them had. Like
they did 100%.
You know what's crazy? This team has needed Kyrie Irving for as long as I've been alive. Like this team has needed Kyrie Irving since he was a fetus. Okay. When Kyrie Irving was a fetus, the Raptors should have pre-drafted him. I hate to keep bringing up Kyrie because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but he is just so perfect for what this team needs. And It's not like he'd be perfect on every team, but he'd be so perfect for this team. So he will be available this offseason. I just want to let y'all know that. He will definitely be available.
What does it take to get him, though?
But like he's coming off an Achilles.
Emmanuel quickly.
Do you think that's it?
And a couple seconds, like what is the value of Kyrie Irving having not played all year on a team that's trying to lose and build around Cooper Flag? Like I could look, whatever we feel about Emmanuel Quickly's process, it doesn't matter because the analytics love that dude. They do. Like everything other than his, catch and shoot 3-point shot this year has been pretty much great. And he's really turned his season around. He's not a negative asset. He's slightly overpaid, but so is Irving.
If you bring in Kyrie, I think BI's got to go out the door.
Oh, because they have beef?
No, not because they have beef. I just think he's got to go out the door because I haven't seen the value of BI without the ball in his hands this season. And I don't like the value.
I haven't seen the value of it. I don't like him with the ball in his hands.
I don't like either. I really don't. I tried to make it work. I tried to, play cool. I just don't like it. I'm not a fan of it.
He was available, and you got him cheap for a reason, fellas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was pretty much a Pascal Siakam for Brandon Ingram swap, and if you had to do it again, you'd take Siakam 10 times out of 10.
And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if
Okay.
he was who some of these Raptors fans think he was, he wouldn't have been available.
Facts. Okay, so here's the thing: trading for Kyrie Irving plus PJ Washington, no, plus Najee Marshall. That shouldn't be that hard. So
That's their poster boy.
yeah, so trade for Najee Marshall and Kyrie Irving, and trade Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. Who really says no to that?
You think the Mavericks will do that deal?
I mean, I guess we take Clay's contract as well. Clay would be having 1 year expiring. Yeah, why not? Why does this deal not help both teams? It totally does.
It's going to be good next
Okay,
year.
yeah, you're trading an expiring for an expiring.
Sure.
I know, but remember, like the Mavs want to be better next year. They don't have their own pick next year, so I don't think they get better with this deal. They get worse.
Well,
a lot worse.
they don't have
I
the
don't-
pick of the litter for shooting guard, like point guards who can
I mean,
shoot.
they'd be looking to get off, 2 older guys, technically 3 older guys for 2 younger guys. I think that aligns with, hey, Cooper Flag might be 2-3 years away from contending, for a playoff spot. Let's take 1 more year. Cooper in his second year we don't need to be pushing for the playoffs. I think you just have to look at this from a timeline perspective. You have players that are younger than other players, but there are players in this league that are just better. So, and even if they're not better, they're better fits. You can take a look at the Miami Heat with Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins will be a $28 million expiring. Tyler Hero will be a $31 million expiring. Could you make a deal for those two and add a first round pick? Those two fit a lot better next to what you want to do. Tyler Hero, if nothing else, a little injury prone, sure, but he's still a guy who can dribble, pass, shoot, and has like elite ball skills. I don't know how expensive Norman Powell is going to be as an extension.
Jesus.
Work out a sign and trade for him. I don't know. There's options, man. There's so many more options this summer. I mean, you look at the Washington Wizards right now. Could they want to move off of somebody? There's some options there. Who else?
Is there any hope they get rid of Jakob Poeltl?
Yeah, that might be one of those things.
What about
you're stuck with him for a few years?
That's next year. He's got to show that he can play basketball.
Try Portland. I'm curious what the Drew. How long does Drew Holiday have left on his contract?
I think the better question is, if you've watched Drew Holiday this season, how long does Drew Holiday have as an NBA starter? And I think the answer is 0. He has 0 time left as an NBA
but you made
starter.
the Al Horford thing. Like, yes, he would fit well, and we're
Yeah,
trading
but Al
down.
Horford doesn't make $32 million for the next 2 years.
Oh.
That's a different situation.
Maybe they
Al
give us the pick.
Horford is like basically almost a minimum guy right now. That's why I said like Al Horford fits. Al Horford makes $5 million a year, right? That's a different situation. Now again,
Yeah,
I look at the Warriors as a team that could be right for the picking, with players that kind of fit, what you want to do. And you could look at guys like Moses Moody. But again, you just don't have the contracts to make trades for guys like Moses Moody, Day'Ron Sharpe. These are guys that actually fit what you want to do. If you look at the Bulls roster, there's plenty of guys who kind of fit what you want to do. Jalen Smith is an option of a guy who kind of fits what you want to do. Rob Dillingham's not really my cup of tea, but sure, whatever. You could take a swing on him. Patrick Williams is a guy I've mentioned many times. He's a very low usage guy. I don't necessarily think he moves the needle at all for the Raptors, but maybe he's just a less disruptive player and a slightly better defender than some of the guys that he'd be replacing. So again, like, this is not a matter of like, oh my God, the Raptors need to go and trade for a superstar. No, the Raptors, you know who would save the Raptors season right now? Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard would save the Raptors season right now. You don't have a single player like him, but Peyton Pritchard is like the 5th best player on the Celtics, or 4th.
He's your second best player most nights here.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
No, but like that's what I'm saying. We don't need a superstar. One superstar. That's why I wasn't really a fan of the Anthony Davis trade, just because that's one player, that's coming in. We still can't space the floor. We still have problems. This roster's still not perfect. We need multiple pieces, plug and play guys who can come in and help elevate this team. So
yeah, but Peyton Pritchard's not a superstar, but we're still giving up at least 1 first-round pick to get him.
Dude,
Yeah, Johans, can you move your mic up a little bit or something? Because you are like 5 to 10 decibels lower than everybody else.
Me?
I tell you what, I donate a testicle for Sam Hauser. That's the guy we need.
Sam Hauser?
That's the kind of guy we need.
On offense, maybe.
Peyton Pritchard makes sense though, just because
You know who I'd rather have than Sam Hauser? Hugo Gonzalez. That dude is
Yeah.
awesome. I really
Keep
like
them
him.
both.
It's funny how all the players that would fit Raptors right now are both current and past Celtics.
That's crazy.
Yo, the Celtics have such a white team. It's crazy. Baylor Shireman, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Luka Garza, all on the same team. Damn. What? They really trying to relive the 60s. Let's see the Sixers, man. Sixers. Quentin Grimes. Like I'll go through the roster by roster and tell you which players fit the Raptors. Let's just do this as a useful exercise. I mean, there's so many players on the Pistons that fit the Raptors. Isaiah Stewart is a great fit for the Raptors.
Jalen Duren, who's expiring next year.
That's funny. He's not expiring. He will be extended to probably a max contract. Paul Reed would fit the Raptors exceptionally well.
B-ball Paul?
Yeah, he would. Marcus Sasser wouldn't be the worst pickup. Dennis Jenkins wouldn't be a bad pickup. Again, we've already covered the Celtics. Looking at the Knicks, they have a ton of guys who would really fit the Raptors. I think Deuce McBride obviously would come in right away and be a starting point guard on this team, which is really crazy to say, but like he is such a good defender. Tyler Kolek, from the brief stints where he really exploded this year, I really liked him. Obviously, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, these are good fits for the Raptors. If I look at the Magic, Goga Batadze, big trade deadline target for me, but apparently they wanted a first-round pick for him. Will they soften on that stance? So he'll be in an $8 million expiring this offseason. Will they soften on that stance if they decide, hey, we're not signing him back? Mo Wagner will be a free agent this offseason. You could probably look into him as kind of an enforcer type. Tristan Da Silva totally fits what the Raptors want to do. Jace Richardson fits what the Raptors want to do. Slim pickings beyond that. I look at the Atlanta Hawks, who really fits what the Raptors want to do. Gabe Vincent's a terrorist. Keep him off my team. But Corey Kispert, I mean, he fits. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, he fits.
That's my point, though. Like, none of these guys you're saying are superstars, but we're giving up first-round picks for all of them.
Jock Londo is a great example. He's an expiring contract. Go sign him.
Dude, they got Jock Landau for a fucking printer at the deadline.
Yes, they did. I wanted him. He was on my target list. Plenty of players on the Hornets that fit the Raptors. None more than Con Knipple, but he is not available for the next 10 years. If I look at the Bucks, could they be decimated? Ryan Rollins would be great off the bench. Who else? Honestly, the Bucks suck. Hey, if you want to feel better about the Raptors, at least we're not the Bucks.
What's his name?
It could be worse.
The white dude can shoot. What's his name? Green? I take him.
AJ Green?
Yeah, AJ Green. I take AJ Green.
Yeah, I mean, even on the Pacers, like I don't think the Pacers are moving anybody since they've already mortgaged the future to get Ivica Zubac, and who knows, they might end up giving up a pick. But I look at the Spurs. There's plenty of players on the Spurs that fit the Raptors. Luke Cornett fits. Keldon Johnson fits. Devin Vassell fits. De'Aaron Fox fits. Holy shit! Everybody on this team fits. Carter Bryant fits.
Kelly Olynyk fits.
Kelly Olynyk, bring him back. Kelly Olynyk didn't fit so well when he was here, but yeah, I look at the Nuggets. Plenty of players fit. Cameron Johnson, Christian Brown. Could they have a little bit of buyer's remorse on Christian Brown as his $25 million extension kicks in next year? Could that be a situation? Right? You look at these cap conscious teams.
I would trade RJ in a first for that.
For RJ in a couple of seconds for Christian Brown. That offers them a little bit more offensive punch, gives you a little bit of a younger player, defensive first, and you eat some contract. Like again, every trade you make is gonna be that. Either you're trading for the more talented player and you're giving up picks, or you're trading up for the less talented player and you're maybe taking on a better contract, or you're trading up for a better fit and a younger player and you're taking more years back. Like this seems to be like how it's going to go. Like I could even look at there's a player on this team right here, Dorian Finney-Smith, who fits perfectly next to Scotty Barnes. This is a great addition. Jabari Smith could be another one. Tari Eason. These are decent picks. I'm not saying this one fits all, one size fits all. Like one thing, it's just like, oh, boom! If the Raptors get this guy, Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels,
Yeah,
Jonathan
but that's the
DiVincenzo,
issue.
Ayo Dosunmu.
We need to do like 3 of these, and that we're
Yeah.
giving up a pick in each one.
I don't want to give up any picks.
That's
we basically
what I'm
have
saying. Like that's the problem.
The problem.
it has to be like a Tari Eason. It has to be a team that just has an abundance of talent, and they just can't pay everybody. And this current player is like their 9th, 10th guy, and they just can't pay him because they've already decided the 3 to 4 guys they're going to pay. We have to do that like 3 times this summer, and there are plenty of these guys. And the sad part is these guys who are like the 9th, 10th guy on said team would be our 5th guy. And he'd be getting like 30 minutes a night for us. And on the team he came from, he's struggling to crack 15.
I think getting these dudes is possible if you unload Emmanuel quickly. I think he's the cog in all this just because of his contract.
If you trade Emmanuel quickly for a player who knows how to organize offense, say even a TJ McConnell, not the contract
like
that makes sense.
Jones, something.
Yeah.
A guy that can get out of the way.
Yeah, like somebody even
But
someone
also
like
defend, like a better
Colin
defender.
Gillespie,
Yeah,
you know,
a better defender.
a Tyler Kolek, or a or a theorized Jamal Shed who can hit pull-up jump shots. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it just he takes away so much to give you a little.
Oh my God. The driving into the paint to just stop at the free throw line, throw a couple head fakes, throw it back out, kill 15 seconds. That shit, I can't watch that for another year. I can't.
Yeah, I think for anyone who understands basketball at a decently high clip, offensive organization is really big, right? And there's so many advantages that are milked away or pissed away because of a lack of offensive organization. And I think there's so many examples in this game. Like you look at a play like this, which is good process. One of the few times where I was complimenting the Raptors, right? You see this right away. Now, right here, this pass right here has to go right now. Has to go cross right now. If it doesn't go cross right now, the advantage is done. So this is good process, right? Now, this is not perfect by Scotty by any means. I would much rather that he extend forward, but it works out. There's so many examples in the half court where the Raptors offense does not make the right play or does not find the right advantage, and then it just kind of goes away. And I'm just gonna, while y'all talk, I'm just gonna try to find like an example of this, but like it's just.
I have a question for you guys. If I told you that Colin Murray-Boyles would be our 2nd most valuable player this season, before the season, how crazy would you think I am?
I wouldn't think you're crazy at all. I kind of felt like he was the 2nd most valuable player coming into the season. So, yeah. But again, like okay, like in this situation, how do you not attack left? How? It's not like he's cutting off the left. You don't have any idea what you're doing here. You go into the help instead of attacking left. Like, am I crazy?
Nope.
Any decent point guard takes a middle drive down the middle, and then if this defense collapses, then they're able to find the shooter above the break or find Brandon Ingram on the right side. And again, it's just like it always starts with quickly. It always starts with quickly. It's just like the stupidity of it. And it's just like, unless he is running the most rudimentary pick and roll with Jakob Poeltl, and it's the simple read, he is one of the worst passing point guards in the NBA, bar none. He's just the least dynamic, least inventive, least creative, just not good. Not good at all. So if that is, in fact, your internal evaluation of him, then it behooves me that you have not had an internal conversation with him where your coach sits him down and says, listen, man, for 2.5 years, we've tried to lie to ourselves and pretend that you're some sort of point guard, that you can run the offense, run the ship, get guys involved. You don't have it. So we do have this player on this team that you happen to share the court with a lot. His name is Scotty Barnes. He's pretty good at this. He's really good at getting guys involved. He's really good at making sure that guys get touches. He's really good at putting guys in position to score. He's not the greatest pull-up jump shooter, but we're willing to live with that because you're going to be the secondary ball handler off of him. And you know what? Here's the good thing, Emmanuel, quickly. You're probably going to score more efficiently playing off of him than he is going to score playing off of you. How has this not been a permanent switch? I mean, I swear to God, I see the Hawks running point guard through Jalen Johnson. He's not a good pull-up jump shooter. But
who do you think this is coming from? Do you think that
this is a Darko thing? Darko insists his point guards are his height. I don't know what he like. I would look. Darko is from my home city, so please understand. I say this very, very like with a stone on my heart. If Jason Kidd's available this offseason, I hire him in a second because he would unleash Scotty at point.
Yeah, look what he's doing with Cooper Flag.
I mean,
and what he did with Giannis. Because Jason Kidd is all about, this guy's my best player. We need the best version of this player. And everything's streamlines from there.
Dude, they tried to run Wemby at point. Every team that has a dynamic player that they are hoping to develop into more. Like, I think the Raptors have screwed up Scotty's development in so many ways. It's like a lot of people are harping on like, oh, well, you know, like he's not taking shots and he's not doing this and that, whatever. No, man, like you needed to give him a lot of like fuck up reps in his first 3-4 years. Instead, you've leaned into his tendency to try to play perfected basketball. And you know what? That's Scotty's worst quality, is that he's always trying to play perfect basketball. It's not good. Like, you need to play imperfect basketball. You need to go out and take 25 shots, even if you miss 20 of them. You know, you need to learn the rhythm of how to get your shots off. And I mean, we've seen so many plays this season of like flashing half court creation reps, you know? And it's like when people say, well, you know, he can't handle, it's just like, okay, Scotty on the right side, Ingram on the left side, both drive into congested traffic. Who do you trust to not turn the ball over? I trust Scotty. You know, like I'm sure neither one of them are going to be necessarily great at it, but at the very least, Scotty's going to see the double coming and find the shooter. Ingram's not going to see the double coming. He's going to drive right into a triple team and toss the ball over. So, you know, it's one thing to ice Scotty out of the offense because you got Kobe Bryant or Kawhi Leonard, and you're like, all right, I understand you got a lot of potential, Scotty Barnes, but we got Kobe Bryant and Kawhi Leonard on the team. So you're going to have to sit back and sit in the corner a little bit. It's another thing to do it for Ingram. And I got to tell you, I warned y'all early when the Raptors traded for Ingram. I love Ingram. I like Ingram, but I hate the way the Raptors are talking about Ingram. And the minute Bobby Webster brought up Kawhi Leonard talks, we haven't had a guy like this since Kawhi. I was like, oh, this guy's really fucking stupid. Like, this guy might be really dumb.
So,
because comparing those two players shows me that your evaluation is very, very flawed.
I couldn't agree more. But so, I mean, you made a good point, and honestly, it's getting my wheels turning, and I'll explain why. But if this collapse continues, and this is just pure hypothetical, we get bounced into play-in.
Oh, yeah.
At what point
lottery, baby.
At what point do you fire Darko?
I think you have to give him at least 15 games into the next season. I don't think you're firing him because regardless of how you spin it, this season optically is going to be seen as a positive. Even if you collapse late, it's still going to be like, well, you remember before RJ got hurt? By the way, can we have a nice little, can we pour one out for the people who thought that the offense was going to get better just because RJ came back? Do you remember those people? The Raptors are X,
that
Y,
was
and Z.
insane.
I love that. I pushed against that, by the way.
What was that guy's name again?
Which guy?
You know who I'm talking about.
William Lou?
No, RJ.
The
guy you
know Shannon.
Yeah. Pour one out for Shannon. I just literally poured water on my floor, just so you guys know.
My guy about to mop his floor just for Shannon. We got classic Major back.
Do we kill a
Hey, am I
season
live?
though?
Yeah, you are.
Almost.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to join this convo because yeah, you guys are getting down to the nitty gritty. Like this is real.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's
But
it's getting to that point where I feel like we need to.
it's not that far gone though. Like everything you're saying, Penn, is really is an easy fix. Honestly, all we need is some decent players that know how to operate in what we're trying to do, and we can get this thing rolling. It's not that far gone. We don't need to trade Scotty or make any crazy changes.
But like I said, I need to see something this offseason from Bobby. At least one step in the right direction, like a Derek White kind of trade.
Yeah, and what Penn said that even the fact that we were going after a Derek White, I feel like that makes me know that they're in the right, headspace on what they're trying to do with the team.
Yeah, I mean, this team is always trying to fleece in trades, which is kind of ironic because they've been fleeced in almost every single trade they've made in the last few years. But they didn't want to pay up 3 first-round picks for Derek White, and I don't blame them. I get it. That's a hefty price to pay for a player 32 years old. But that being said, like it shows me that they're at least targeting the right type of player. And that's all I really want from this team is to make sure that they understand the type of basketball that they want to play. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And Derek White would be when I heard that, I'm like, man, Derek White for us. I know that may be far-fetched, but I think we'd be contenders right away. It would be like or am I tripping on that, you guys think?
No, I think he's that good.
Yeah, for real. Like with him, oh my God, the way he comes and pulls up on him, he's so disrespectful. Like he'll come and knock down 3-4 straight threes. It's crazy.
I mean, even when his shot is not going, he's still like an incredible defender, and he provides so much defense at the rim. It was very interesting the other day because we're listening to Kenny Atkinson try to explain why Derek White's a top 5 player in the NBA, and I was just like, "Yo, that's insane! He's not even close to top 5, but he's definitely closer to top 25 than he is to top 50. Like he's an all-star. Like he's an all-star impact player.
He gets it done. Like even just on a basic level, just playing, you just always know he's gonna be there. Like, and just understands that defensive flow. Like kind of like how you always mention with RJ, and like I'm noticing that stuff now. Like he's always falling asleep, and then that little split second just messes everything up for our defense, and then we just go on these stoop. Like that's how it all starts, I feel.
Was Derek White a trade acquisition the same deadline that we traded for Thad Young?
No, that was this year.
I think Derek White would have been available either that offseason or that trade deadline. I think they traded him in the offseason.
No, it was definitely that deadline, I believe. I know it was a deadline trade. Yeah, it definitely was a deadline trade. And I believe we gave up more for Thad Young than the Celtics did for Derek White.
No, definitely not. The Celtics gave up 2 first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken, and we gave up 1 first round and we swapped for a second.
Derek White trade.
Guarantee it wasn't 1 first round, dude.
Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, and a 2022 first-round pick used on Blake Wesley, and a 2028 swap.
Wow.
Okay, so it was a swap plus a pick.
Correct, and the pick became Blake Wesley.
It is crazy that those 2 trades are in the same ballpark.
Okay. I mean, I seem to remember them trading 2 first-round picks. The fact that they traded only 1 first and a swap, I would do that deal in a heartbeat. And again, it's kind of funny. The Raptors, made 2 different deals, 3 different deals with the Spurs, and it's just like couldn't get that one guy. That's.
I wish we got Pirtle when we had made that first trade with them. I think that would have been a better time to get him.
Yeah, but I don't think he was available at that point. He still had some time. The Raptors have been trading for players who are about to expire, so that's kind of making me think too, right? Like the Raptors keep trading for players on expiring contracts and then giving them really, really big contracts. They traded for Quickly on an expiring, Thad on an expiring, Jakob on an expiring, Ingram on an expiring. That's 4 times that they've done this. So this is their strategy. Internally, their strategy is as follows. We will trade pennies on the dollar, win the trade because the other team doesn't want to pay a guy. But at some point, maybe you need to ask yourself, you're so bad at handing out contracts. Maybe it's now time to pivot to a new strategy. trade for guys with 5 years left on their deal or 4 years left on their deal.
Is BI tradable at all?
Yeah, of course. He's tradable.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, is he tradable for
Like positive value.
75% of what he is as a player? For somebody that is
I think
3/4
that
of what
depends.
he is.
I think that depends internally on what you think he is as a player. What do you think he is as a player? I'm going to ask you what do you think he is? So I'm going to ask you like yes or no. Do you think he is a franchise player?
No.
Do you think he is a number 1 option on a really good team?
No.
Do you think he's a number 2 option on a really good team?
No.
Do you think he's a top 20 player in the NBA?
No.
Do you think he's a top 30 player in the NBA?
No.
Okay, then yes, he's available for whatever the hell you think he is. But if you think he's those things, if you think like Bobby Webster thinks that he is the second coming of Kawhi Leonard, then no, he is not available to be traded for whatever the fuck you think he's worth.
I think we could get role player salary, like mediocre role player salary, plus at least an unprotected first round pick for him still.
If you could turn him into 3 players, I'm not even worried about picks. Can you turn him into 3 players that can all add into maybe 90% of what he is?
But are we really that low on Ingram now?
I've been low on Ingram. It's not a good fit next to Scotty.
Not us.
I think maybe I don't know. Just maybe I'm just looking at it. Maybe it's the Quickly and the Barrett thing. Like I know it's like kind of all clogged. I think, and just the way he's so lanky and
I think it's all 3.
It's hard for him to really operate. You know, he's not just like a sniper shooter.
I feel like Ingram. Like again, Coach Mo, I think earlier said if he could keep one of these guys, he would keep Quickly. I understand that. I would be okay with keeping Ingram. I don't know who's got the background noise on, but I'm hearing like, hold on, I'm gonna try to mute you, Classic Major, for a second. Let me just see if it goes away. Check. Yeah, it did go away. So Classic Major, if you could just turn on your headphones, if you have headphones, because otherwise I'm hearing myself talking in your background.
Anyways, turn on my headphones and
yeah, that would help. Anyways, yeah, so I think that if Ingram and Scotty, if let's just say we start a team from scratch, right? It's Ingram and Scotty, and like the rest of the team is basically the Boston Celtics minus Tatum and Brown. That team works. I think that team works. I think Scotty and Ingram can be a worse version of Brown and Tatum. And I think the rest of the team is just shooters and slashers and finishers and rim protectors and defenders and athletes and off-ball players. I think it works. And then you have like that perfect plug in the middle, which is Derek White to, stitch it all together. But if the other players are Jamal Shed, CMB, Jakob, then it doesn't work. So I think that's the critical thing for the Raptors right now is identifying where are your solutions and where are your problems. And I really don't think that Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes are the problem. I think the fact that they have to play with these other 9 to 10 guys, I think that's the problem. Personally, I think that's the problem.
Here's my thing too, and I like your example of if you put him on the Boston Celtics minus Brown and Tatum. However, who's coaching that team, who's running that team, what's the team philosophy, right? If it's Missoula, I 100% agree. But look at Ochai right now. It's not even like he's shot chucking. He's putting up efficient games. He looks like a completely different player than what he looked like in Toronto.
Okay, let's role play this. I want you to be Joe Mazzulla. If you feel uncomfortable doing this, let me know. But I want you to be Joe Mazzulla, coach for the day for the Toronto Raptors. Yes. You have officially been hired to be coach of the day. Address the team after today's loss as Joe Mazzulla. Go ahead. What is Joe Mazzulla? What is Joey Mazzulla saying to the Toronto Raptors right now?
I'm gonna set my dogs loose.
He's walking in the locker room and he's saying that was shit. Turning around, walking out, and they're running suicides all day tomorrow at practice.
Yeah,
he's a man of few words.
Yeah, either that or he's starting a fight club because
either that or he's throwing punches. Like him and Scotty Barnes are squaring up for Alpha Dog. Like that. That's what's happening in the locker room.
I think you would threaten them.
Yeah, that Jamal Shed thing is really gonna hit us, man. It's all over social media.
People are losing their minds on Twitter.
And here's the thing. The whole thing was we have dogs now. The only person that stood up for him was Quickly.
Yeah,
Crazy.
exactly.
Yeah, that is crazy to me.
Crazy. Dude, I used to watch Serge Ibaka get in fights with people over him getting
Oh my
boxed out.
gosh.
I need that
Yeah.
back.
Yes, Ibaka would have got suspended after that.
Dude, Ibaka used
Definitely.
to
I didn't
get
even think
bitched and
about
get in
that.
fights with people. Like, why can't we do that now? Why are guys such pushovers? You know, like, I don't blame Scotty for it. He's a franchise player. A franchise player shouldn't be doing dirty work, even though he's probably the most physically menacing guy.
Yeah, what about BI though? He threw a punch before. And this guy just looking around like, oh man. That was tough. I'm just hung up on that one though.
So what is it that you think that his teammates should have done in his place? You think they should have fought DeJounte Murray
Yes.
in the midst of a
Yeah.
blowout?
Yes.
Yeah,
Detroit Pistons stuff.
Charged at DeJounte and tried to punch DeJounte in the face?
Sometimes you need that change of pace, right? Sometimes you
Yeah.
need that hockey mentality.
But we gave up this game. I called in for my first time because today was a pivotal game for this season. Like the way we are now, this stuff should have been rolling already. Like even looking at the last couple Raptors rosters, but this game was very important. And then that happens and we gave up. It was just like, yeah, a fight today. You know what I mean? That might have been it.
There's just like no sense of team synergy or that they like care about backing each other up at all.
Yeah, we never had that like as a
Like, that was
Raptors
the
culture
most
that we've been building.
That was the
They
most
don't-
disrespectful thing I've seen on an NBA court this year.
Yeah, like what? That was crazy. I'm so happy I didn't see that. I would have crashed my truck. Yeah.
But how can you
I
feel
feel
like
bad for the company that hired you.
No, I'm a pro. I'm a pro. Don't worry. That's why, I gotta check in on the Raptors, but I can't really watch it. And that's the thing with these Raptors games. They get so intense and just you have to really lock in. I can't even. So it just sucks. I just gotta just watch the thing and then hopefully they do a comeback. And sometimes they do. Like they'll be down like 16. I'll put my phone down. I'll wait like 20 minutes. I come back, we're tied. And it's just like we're always in those situations. And it's just like, why us? Like something's just. And it's no other team. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the stuff that we have to deal with, I don't see it happening for any other teams. Like, what is it?
I mean, look, like the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently getting blown out on the road against the Clippers, a team that they are presumably better than. The Cleveland Cavaliers got destroyed today by the Orlando Magic. Teams lose. Like they lose games. The New York Knicks were down double digits against the Utah Jazz before coming back in the second half and whooping their ass. The Houston Rockets, a team that we just beat, just lost by over almost 40 points to the Denver Nuggets. I'm just saying, it's not like we're the only fan base that's ever lost a game that we weren't supposed to lose. And I said it going into yesterday's game to prime the expectations because I do believe I want us to have the most informed Raptors community on the interwebs. And I said that it was perfectly possible to lose this game, that this was going to be a hard game to get. I don't think the Raptors are playing good basketball. And I think a lot of this comes down to Scotty's health. Look, Scotty gets more rebounds. He pushes in transition. He's a little more assertive offensively. Probably win this game. Right now, he's not rebounding. He's not. Most of the rebounds he got tonight just fell into his hands. So if those rebounds don't fall into his hands, he has 3 rebounds in 36 minutes. Okay, so I'm just saying, like, he's obviously not himself right now. And unfortunately, the Raptors don't have a great margin of error when it comes to Scottie Barnes. If Scottie Barnes is not right, you're not winning games.
But that's my problem is, like, I'm not happy if we win tonight just off of Scotty playing a little better. And, like, I don't know. The offensive process is so bad.
Right.
That the whole thing is just demoralizing. Sorry.
Oblonsky said, stop, Penn. You know this isn't a normal loss where the other team just played way better. I don't know what you're watching, Oblonsky, because the other team absolutely played way better. They played way better than us. They played better in transition. They had better decision-making. They shot better from the 3. What do you consider playing better?
No,
I
but
would argue, apart from defense, they outperformed us in every specific element of the game.
I think he meant to say this a bit differently. Like, this wasn't like the Timberwolves where it's like they're mostly winning and they're winning against better teams more regularly. This, for us, tonight was like shining the mirror on what's been happening the whole season. And it's
Correct.
like, this isn't just like a one-off.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think that's what he's trying to say. I don't think he's trying to say that we lost by a lot or whatever. Like, we didn't, because we did, obviously.
Okay. Well, let's look at what these New Orleans Pelicans have been doing recently, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people probably didn't do coming into this game, is figure out who this team is. So yes, they had this very disastrous losing streak early in the season, and they followed it up with another losing streak, and that's why they're so bad. But they did have that nice little winning stretch where they beat some bad teams, as well as the Houston Rockets and Portland Trailblazers by 23. This is an offensively talented team. I mean, at that point, people were wondering if they were going to turn it around. But here's who they've been since the All-Star break. They lost to Milwaukee by 21. Then they beat Philadelphia by 15, right? Then they beat Golden State by 4. They beat Utah by double digits twice in a row. They lost to the Clippers and the Lakers before beating the Kings, losing to the Phoenix Suns, then blowing the Wizards out by 20 points, and then beat the Raptors by 11. I'm not saying they're world beaters. I'm not saying they're great. I'm just saying they're a good enough team that you can lose to them on the second night of a back-to-back when they're playing well and you're not. And when they're healthy, and that's an important factor too, is this team hasn't been super healthy. They were missing DeJounte for most of the season. They were starting Jeremiah Fears. You see firsthand how terrible Jeremiah Fears is defensively right now. Hopefully he gets better. I'm not holding my breath on it. He's a very talented player. He and Derek Queen are insanely talented players. So if their future works out, this could be a playoff team within a couple of years. But as of right now, if Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen are starting for you, you're going to get killed defensively. And that's how they lost a lot of those games. Not because they weren't talented, but because they weren't healthy. And so now they're healthy, and you have to look at the equation a little bit differently. That's how I feel. So, yes,
I mean, it's fair, but I feel like it's my fault.
No, go ahead.
It's fair. It's very fair. I just still feel like it's a game that you should win if you expect to be a top 6 team in a conference.
Sure.
Yeah, and we dropped a few spots. This game was important for the seeding.
Yeah, we went from 5th to 7th in one game. That's what happened.
Yeah,
because yesterday, Miami won on that bullshit ass performance from Bam Adebayo. I'm sorry.
History.
I don't fucking care.
That was crazy. I had to move away from the game to watch that. Like, I actually tuned away from the Rockets game to catch that, because I never got to see Kobe. So I was just like, wonder what it was like to score. What it was like when that scored 80 points.
I promise you, it was way different than Kobe. I promise you that.
There was so many foul shots.
It was disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to be a hater. I like Bam Adebayo more than most people do. He's one of my, for a long time, he was one of my favorite players. But watching a player take 43 free throws and then get 83 points and then to hunt it the way that he did at the end, I just can't. I'm sorry. I watched Michael Jordan's 69. I watched Luka's 73. I watched Kobe's 81. That's the least impressive performance above 70 I think I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, man, that's lucky you got to see those. Yeah.
I mean, yes, the record books will say Wilt, Bam, Kobe, but I promise you, 20 years from now, someone's going to pull up tape on that game and just be like, what the fuck? It was just such a, the Wizards are just so stupid. And it's funny because I was on Player's Choice a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying, one way to get around tanking is you should embarrass tanking teams. You just go at them and embarrass them like this. You should have a guy put up 100 points or blow them out by 60, 70 points. And just, because that puts a lot of shame on the organization. And so I think shame is a good, powerful motivator to not do bullshit. So I thought that maybe teams should do that. But now the Wizards are the laughingstock of the entire NBA because they allowed Bam fucking Adebayo, who, by the way, here's a fun fact about Bam. Going into last night's game, Bam Adebayo was averaging fewer points than Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Scotty's averaging 19 and Bam was averaging 18.9. So that would be like if Scotty Barnes had 83 points.
Was it you that said that? I thought I heard someone say that. Yeah,
that's insane.
It's literally like the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, y'all, any final thoughts from anybody before we close this up?
Yeah, I think as it stands right now, if you lose to the Sixers in the first round of the play-in, I would rather lose to the Hornets than lose to the Hawks because those fans will be so insufferable on Twitter. It'd be crazy how insufferable those Hawks fans would be because we talk crazy all year. The last thing I want is to be eliminated by them.
Well, if the season were to end right now, you host play-in game number 1 against the Sixers.
Yes.
And
I think you
presumably
lose that game.
as Joel Embiid does the airplane celebration for the third time.
Jesus.
And then the Hornets beat the Hawks.
I'd rather lose to the Hornets. I'd rather lose to the Hornets
and
than
then
the Hawks.
the Hornets come into Toronto and beat you, and you make it to the lottery. There you go. I do not want to be in the play. I just want to be clear about that. I'm perfectly happy with the Raptors finishing 6th. That would be happy outcome for me. Face the New York Knicks in round 1. Perfect. Big market. There's a puncher's chance that you could win, although I don't really think you can beat the Knicks. But man, like, what's the best case scenario is, you know what would really suck, and probably what is going to happen. We lose to Philly and then somehow beat the other team and end up being the 8th seed, and then get dog walked by the Detroit Pistons, as all the people are like, this is the guy that you said was better than Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, that's a Raptors story right there.
Oh God. Oh, I'm sick just thinking about it. I don't want to think about that, but yeah.
If CMB is healthy, I honestly think we can beat Philly without Maxey.
Without Maxey?
Yeah, he's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
But he's not injured for the rest of the season, is he?
I thought that's what like the story was saying.
Oh, he said 2-3 weeks. So.
Oh, I thought he was, because everyone's saying that they should tank now. So I thought that they were like donezo.
No, I think they just said they're going to reevaluate. I could be wrong, but from what I think I've seen,
multiple weeks of a tendon injury.
At least weeks left of the regular season.
So it's at least 3 weeks. There's over 4 weeks left.
Okay, so there's a decent chance he'll be back for playoffs.
Yeah, like right there. So he could still be going through it, maybe.
She-Wolf said, today is my birthday. I'm wishing for the Kawhi miracle. Okay, well, happy birthday, Allison. Happy birthday to you. And I don't know what the Kawhi miracle is. Scotty Barnes hits a game-winning shot from the corner in a game 7. That would be great. I do think Scotty has another gear in the playoffs, and I am positively encouraged by what I've seen from Brandon Ingram against the Knicks so far this season. They just don't seem to have an answer for him. And yeah, I mean, if the Knicks are the matchup, that's cool, but I just really don't like our chances against any of those top 3 teams. Boston, New York, Detroit, we just get whooped. I don't know. At this point, if you were doing a power ranking of the Eastern Conference, I'd be surprised if you had the Raptors top 8. Surprised.
You know what's funny? I actually really like our odds against 4, 5, and 6 right now more than Atlanta and Charlotte right now.
I was about to say that too. Honestly, it's really just the top 3. We have no chance.
I think we could.
You really think we have a really good chance against a Harden-led Cleveland Cavaliers? I feel like we're gassing up the fact that we beat them without Harden too many times. Like Harden, just imagine this playing out. One possession, Harden runs pick and roll with Jared Allen. On the next possession, Emmanuel Quickly passes to RJ Barrett as RJ Barrett passes back to Emmanuel Quickly, as Emmanuel Quickly passes to RJ Barrett as he passes back to Emmanuel Quickly, and the shot clock expires. Like there aren't enough. Like the gap in processing between James Harden and Emmanuel Quickly is the same as the gap in processing between me and Scotty Barnes. Like it's big, you know. So it's not good. Yeah,
but
I just think our front court is better than theirs. Well, maybe not Pirtle over Jared Allen.
Just one last thing I want to say. If we're gonna wrap up, do you think it's over for us? Like the season is basically over. Like there's no like chance like the pride will maybe hit in and we can just hit that next year just off.
As I said to you when you called in at first, there's a conversation that needs to be had, and I don't know who's willing to provoke it.
Right.
But somebody needs to have that conversation about what the fuck are we trying to do this year, and if that conversation is to be had, I think the right leader for that conversation should be Scotty. And, you know, Alvin Williams said something really interesting on the broadcast. Shout outs to Alvin. I think the Raptors, it was like 7 minutes to go. And he said, Scotty Barnes, time to take over. This is your team. Someone might want to remind Scotty that this is his team. Doesn't seem like he knows that. And that's kind of sad because I remember this same Scotty Barnes when Pascal and OG and Fred were on this team. And time after time, he would just take over entire fourth quarters when he didn't have anywhere close to the offensive skill set that he has right now. So why is it that not once this season, or maybe not more than twice this season, have we seen Scottie Barnes just take over a game in the fourth quarter? Isn't that what a franchise player is supposed to do? And if you're Scottie Barnes, I think you need to stop deferring to Brandon Ingram. And I think this entire team is basically like gassing up Ingram so much. This is why he's here. Scottie is being asked by William Liu in like post-game scrums or practice scrums, like, like Brandon Ingram, like, what do you think about the late game offense? And when he's like, that's what we live and die by. Why are you living and dying by the second least efficient shot creator in the clutch? Like, when has that ever been a recipe for success for anybody? This is like the Magic doubling down on Paolo. But at least with Paolo, he's 23 years old, and I understand that there's some hope that he becomes that player. With Ingram, he's 28. I think it's been proven over 5 years. If you're just going to throw the ball to Ingram and try to play iso ball with Ingram, you're going to be a losing basketball team. So the fact that the Raptors didn't learn from what the Pelicans did and just thought they could outsmart everybody and then try to, throw the ball into Ingram and just say, okay, go create something. Go. Why?
Facts.
I mean, I understand it against like really great defenses that Ingram might have to do that because great defenses are literally designed to take motion away from you. But against the Pelicans, you do that? Against this hapless bullshit defense, you have to force feed? No, you didn't have to force feed Ingram at all. Ingram could have gotten 25 points from the flow of this offense, and there's really no reason to. The Raptors lost this game more than the Pelicans won this game. Shout outs to the Pelicans. They're more talented than people give them credit for, but there's no reason the Raptors needed to lose this game. They lost this game because they have players who don't know how to play basketball. And it's a sad thing to say about professional basketball players not knowing how to play, but they don't understand this. So yeah. Anyways, not the most upbeat note to say goodnight on, but yeah, man.
But no, we have to do it. We have to do it. And honestly, I hope after that, maybe I'm just going on this Jamal Shed thing too much, but I hope that sparked, the fire, because we need it. We're not used to this. We have pride in this organization. I know people may look at us as whatever on the outside, but we have a lot of pride and we won a championship. And even though it was a while ago, we can still do it. So hopefully tonight, and especially with this conversation with this community, hopefully it can be the spark so we can push it as a fan base, as a basketball club, for Scotty, everyone, Bobby, everybody. We need to get it together, like just to see what we can do and finish this season on a good note. Because I just feel like it's time. The season's almost done,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, man. Peace. Talk to y'all later.
Thanks.
Good night. Okay. Medved said, it's not like BI's asking for it. Scotty is choosing to defer to him for whatever reason. I disagree completely. Listen, when Scottie Barnes brings the ball up the court, everyone is standing around looking to be past the basketball. Okay? I am going to, it's so interesting. Let's talk a little bit here. I do want to share a skincare thing with people because, as you notice, I don't know, some of you might notice that my skin is looking a hell of a lot better than it did a few months ago, and I want to share what I have done to improve my outcome in case there are people out there who are waking up every single day with fluid in their face. That might help you. So that's one thing. The second thing I definitely want to talk about is there's so many things I want to talk about, but it's fucking almost 1 a.m. Maybe I could save this for a live tomorrow. Thanks, Pen. Appreciate you having me on. Yes, sir. Drive safe. We do not need any. Skin looks great, Rob. I will say, very clear. Thank you. So, okay. Keep my thoughts organized. Thought number one, very often when Scotty brings the ball down the court, something needs to happen, right? Because Scotty is a deeply connective basketball player. He's not a I do my thing, you do your thing type of basketball player. That's never going to be the situation that he's going to thrive in. If I was playing pickup basketball, Scotty's on, and I can choose between Scotty and Brandon Ingram in a pickup basketball game, I'm going to choose Brandon Ingram every single time. But in a 5-on-5 Eurocentric basketball offense, I'm going to choose Scottie Barnes offensively and defensively. And that is because when you play with high IQ basketball players, options present themselves when you put yourself in the right position. So imagine Scotty is dribbling down the court, right? Now, what's he looking to do? As a point guard in his mind, he is looking to make the play. But the play cannot happen if a player jumps into the way, if a player doesn't cut, if a player doesn't screen, or if a player is doing what RJ is doing, which is basically hunting the basketball. RJ will pop up right next to Scotty, 5 feet away from Scotty, and just be like, and you'll see Scotty just reluctantly give him the ball. But what does Scotty actually want RJ to do in that moment? Is he wants him to dive to the basket, create a separation, stretch the one defender so that Scotty can pass it over. I think this is a Scotty problem as much as it is a teammate's problem, because teammates can't read your mind. And you're going to have to let RJ know that this is where I want you to be. Now, Scotty feels very comfortable letting Jamal Shed know where he wants him to be. He has no problem with that. He has no problem letting CMB and Jacoby know where he wants to be. For whatever reason, and the Raptors have been very, very slow to play this out, he does not feel comfortable letting Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley know where he wants them to be. He doesn't necessarily feel comfortable, at least from my interpretation, letting Jakob Poeltl know where he wants him to be. So this is kind of the point. You have to consider the anchoring bias here. Scottie Barnes came into the league, and when he came into the league, the last interpretation that he had of RJ Barrett was that he's some superstar bucket getter, the number 1 player in the country, top 3 pick. The interpretation that he has of Brandon Ingram right now is that he's an elite shot maker. The interpretation he has of Quickley is that this is some, more advanced shot creator than I am. And so Scotty sort of settles into like the 4th role on offense. The day he wakes up and realizes that he is the one who needs to command the offense, that he is the one who needs to demand the basketball. And again, it's the same thing that he had with Pascal and Fred. He didn't feel comfortable. He would kind of bitch in the corner. He would go sit on the bench and throw a bit of a hissy fit. But for whatever reason, Scotty does not feel like he does not have an effective way to communicate with these guys what he wants them to do. And either that or they don't know how to listen. So that's kind of what my read is on the situation is, if you get him teammates who are more receptive and more connected with him, things will go better. Now, interestingly enough, it's not just a matter of players being younger or older. He had no problem communicating with Chris Boucher. That was one player that I always noticed with Scotty. Scotty had no problem going to Chris when he missed the rotation and there was always like a healthy communication with those guys. But for whatever reason, that just does not happen with RJ. When RJ or Grady miss defensive assignments, he doesn't like go up to them and be like, okay, this next time. No, he doesn't do that. He just, and then he walks away. So maybe he's already had all the conversations that he's willing to have. And at this point, he's just kind of like, okay, I can't connect with these guys, or he's unwilling to, but that's bad leadership. So Scottie Barnes, as the guy who knows the right thing to do, I understand. Now, that being said, I have to say I empathize with Scotty because I did the same thing at Penn Dance this past year. So I'll share something about Penn Dance is that I had a couple of teammates, people on my team this year. And I decided that they were not people that I could connect with. As in, the best thing I could do was just make sure that I could minimize how much they were fucking up. I couldn't get them to completely buy into my vision. I knew they weren't going to be long-term fits, not naming names. But I knew in my heart of hearts that we were not aligned in what we were trying to do, that they were not receptive to what I wanted to say. Any criticism that I was going to offer them was going to make them very moody. And at some point, I was just like, okay, this is not a fight worth having. Damn, man, I gotta tell everyone that I got plans with tomorrow that I'm not making those plans. Doesn't seem like my throat is about to heal anytime soon, especially after 2 hours straight. 2 hour lives. No, it's not even catching strays, man. It's just it's different philosophies. There's certain people that you can work with because their mindset is right. Now, here's what's interesting about Penn Dance. We met somebody at Penn Dance this year. Let me reflect. before I talk about the skincare thing, I'll tell you this, but it is a good metaphor for I think what Scotty's going through right now. There was this person at Penance. Her name was Danny. She was like 6'2", and when I walked in, I was not the first person on scene on Friday when we launched. She was cutting tickets. This is my introduction to Danny. She was cutting tickets, and she was cutting them perfectly. And as the idiot who designed these tickets to not be cut perfectly and had just kind of misaligned them in a way that was very hard to cut, I made sure to just let her know, thank you very much. Then we have this filmmaker room in the back where all the filmmakers hang out and all the volunteers hang out. So the festival's happening in the front, red carpet and all that stuff. And there's like a back room where everything is, all my gear, everything. And I remember everything was all fucking thrown about everywhere. And I hate this. I want to be a very organized person. You see behind me, it's pretty organized. I like to think of myself as a aspiring organized person. I'm not the most organized, but I do appreciate organization and I love organized people. And I remember all my gear is just flipped around everywhere. And whoever had put it there is just like, it's impossible to find anything. And I remember Danny coming up to me and just saying, can I please organize this? This is driving me crazy. I knew in that exact moment that this is my type of person. And I decided in that moment, again, having met Danny for exactly an hour, that this was going to be my favorite person at the entire festival all weekend. And she was. And now she's a part of our team. You know? My point is, when the alignment is correct, as in when the objective is correct, then solutions can be tenable. If I believe that you want to play good team basketball and I want to play good team basketball, then we can talk about how to achieve that. But when I discern over a period of weeks, months, or even minutes that your goal is not to play good basketball, your goal is not to play good defense, your goal is not to win basketball games, but rather to just kind of exhibit your own skills. When I don't think that we can even speak the same language, why am I going to have the 50, 80th, and the 100th best, 100th discussion with you? You can take the Kobe Bryant approach. Kobe Bryant gave up on a lot of his teammates too. Okay. Kobe Bryant did not try to convince Smush Parker on how to play better basketball. He fucking gave up on Smush Parker as he gave up on a lot of his teammates. I think Scotty's smart enough to know that there's teammates that he has on this team that are not capable of playing good defense. So screaming at them and teaching them, you're asking him to be more patient, right? Like, so I think that's kind of where we're at. Okay. Now to the skincare thing. Three things that can really, really help you with your skincare stuff. If you are someone in your, let's say, mid 30s to late 30s, and you are suffering from a few things that I was suffering from a few weeks ago. Number one, I was suffering from scarring. Like, for whatever reason, every cut, everything was just scarring, and there was dark spots all over. I think most people were seeing like dark spots here. And it was getting really awkward, and I was starting to like wear my hat super, super low, right? The second thing that I was suffering from was like fluid retention and puffiness in my face. Like, I still have a little bit of puffiness left, but this side's almost completely cleared out. And then the third thing was just an overall dullness of complexion. So here's how you can solve all those problems. Number one is obviously fix your diet. Like, first and foremost, quit smoking and fix your diet. Like, this is going to be transformative. Get good sleep, obviously. But beyond that, there's a lot of things you can do. Number one, to get the fluid out of your face, there's something called I think it's called a gua sha stone. Yeah, here, let me show you. It's this. So it's a traditional Chinese medical technique involving scraping the skin with a smooth edged tool. It's often jade, quartz. Sometimes it can also be aluminum. This is actually good. You just kind of like rub it on your face, and just kind of, there might be some Chinese people in the audience who will probably think that I'm completely butchering this, but the Chinese and Asian people in general, not Asian people in general, but at least a lot of Chinese people believe in energy, and energy can get stuck in your face. It can get stuck in your body. This is why people encourage movement, jumping, running, all these things. It's to release trapped energy. Well, believe it or not, fluid and energy can get stuck in your face and can make you look very, very old. So I think that would help tremendously. The third thing, which I've mentioned before, is red light therapy. I think red light therapy can change people's lives, honestly, especially if you have a good machine. Now, my girlfriend and I, we had a very, very, very heated debate when she decided to buy this machine. Uh, she purchased for like $5,000 like 5 months ago. Dude, that was a debate, man. She blew a lot of her. We have some financial goals as a couple, and that was a pretty big purchase. And yeah, I was like, wow, like this is so not necessary. But man, I got to tell you, I'm very, very happy that she did it, because that machine is such a simple tool. Hang on, I'm gonna show you what it is. Hang on 1 second. What is it called? It is called the Nunamax. Hold on, I'll show you what it is. No free promo for Nunamax, but I'm gonna just let you know what it is. This is the machine right here. Literally, this is the machine. So yeah, $6,000. This machine is life-changing. Life-changing. Not kidding. Complete cellular regeneration. I promise you, next year, I'm going to look 5 years younger because of this machine. And if you think that I think this is effeminate, I don't fucking care what you think. I really don't, because I don't actually think there's anything manly about looking 10 years older than your age. I had a meeting with an actor friend of mine just yesterday. And when we first met, I was 27 and he was 40. Now he's 50 and I'm 38. And we look the same age. And that's fucking weird to me. Now he looks way younger than his age and he takes care of himself. And I look older and I don't take care of myself. But man, I am sick and tired of looking older. I used to be like, when I was 28, 29 years old, I used to get carded all the time. It was frustrating. But now I don't get carded. I haven't been carded in 5 years because I look old and I look tired. And I just realized, if podcasting with my face is going to be a significant part of my life for the next 5 to 7 years, then I better take care of myself. So that's what I'm doing. And I don't think there's anything weird about it. I think it's good. And yeah. I think I also mentioned at one point that my hair up here was thinning a little bit because of my girlfriend's cat and allergies and stuff. Now that went away about a year ago. WY, so wait, Rob, I'm seeing 1,400. Yeah, it's expensive. What does that thing do? Yeah, so it is cellular regeneration. Hang on, I'm gonna actually show you guys 1 sec. Maybe Nunamax will be really impressed with me, and then they'll be like, oh man, we should really. I swear to God, we're going to be the first basketball podcast ever to talk about a red light machine. But okay, look at this. So simple. Turn on. See the red light? So you massage across your face like this, right? And as you're doing it, it heats up a little bit. It goes very, very deep below the dermis and starts to motivate healing and cellular turnover at a very deep level, below anything you can touch. It's not quite laser, and there are machines that are super cheap that are maybe not as effective, but I do think red light therapy is scientifically proven and backed at this point to be very, very positive. Now, I was going to say this. It is normal as hell, by the way, in your late 30s, early 40s, that you will start to see a little bit of thinning on your head. A little bit. Okay? Man. Okay. Let's be real honest here. I don't want to be bald. I just don't. No offense to anybody out there who lost their hair. I don't want to lose my hair. I am not 6'2". I am not like the best looking human being on earth. I am not a billionaire. I'm sorry. To me, having my hair is a really important thing right now. Okay. I'm being honest. I don't want to fucking lose my hair. Okay. So when I started to notice, like when I comb my hair, it was like 2-3 years ago, and I noticed a little bit of thinning here, I fucking freaked out right away. No, I am not one of those people that was like gonna wait until clumps and clumps of my fucking hair fell out before I did something about it. So I immediately went nuclear. I got Rogaine. I tried to like regrow the bits of my hair, and honestly, nothing really worked that well. And then slowly, I realized that it was the cat allergy. But when my hair grew back and everything started to feel a little bit better, I had to tell you, when I got my hair like down to a crew cut, which is where I'm at right now, I still felt okay. I will make you a deal right now. Okay. I'll make you a deal right now. If you have to say yes, though, I will take off my hat and show that I am not balding. But if you discover that I'm not balding, then you give me $20 e-transfer immediately. Okay? You get a hat reveal for $20. I'm not doing this shit for free. And if I am balding, I'll give you $20. How's that? Agree to it. Anyways, my point is, dude, I swear to God, I've done episodes without a hat as recently as 2 months ago. No. So I noticed a little bit of hair, like, thinning here. And then it all came back after the cat allergy subsided. But I got to tell you, I never felt like it all the way came back. Like it felt like the hair here was still, if this is 100, like what it was when I was a kid, this felt like 95. So it never felt like, okay. And then I looked it up and they said, yeah, like a little bit less hair on the top of your head is normal with age. So I was like, fuck, I guess that's okay. It doesn't mean you're balding. It just means, like when you're 50, you have less hair on your head. I don't know anyone like is this news to people? Like there's some people who are just like, oh no, I thought I'd have exactly as much hair for the rest of my life. No, you will not have as much hair for the rest of your life. There's a gradual thinning. It happens to men, it happens to women. With some people, it's very noticeable because they have white skin and dark hair, and it's very noticeable. For some people, it's very not noticeable because they have blonde hair and light skin, or I don't know, they're black. But that being said, for me, this was also very useful for my head. Now, one of the reasons I did it on my head was because I thought that the fluid retention and the cortisol issue I was having was also impacting fluid maybe on my skull, which could have been impacting brain fog. So I thought to myself, I had this really bright idea. This wasn't for hair. What I thought was, okay, let's take this and let's put it on the head. And let's see if we can motivate a little bit of brain health change. That's the idea I had. But you know what's crazy? This was 100. This was 95, right? As of right now, this is 100 and this is like 99. And I have a feeling it's because of four things of this. So if you're someone who has money, if you're someone who has like actual money to invest in one of these machines, I promise you it's worth it. That sounds crazy because initially when my girlfriend bought this, I thought she was crazy, but it actually does work. Anyways, and if you don't have all that, then I would just say the motivating of lifestyle choices, getting good sleep, doing hot cold therapy releases a lot of fluid in your face as well. And then one final thing is I would say derma rolling helps a lot. Anyways, skincare advice from your favorite basketball podcaster. Hey man, only on a loss against the Pelicans. I'll talk to y'all later. Make sure to hit like on this video for more skincare advice. Peace, man. By the way, low key, it is a dream of mine as someone who has almost always, like my whole life, had horrible skin, to be able to give anyone advice on clear skin. No one has ever come up to me and been like, how did you get clear skin? That's never happened in my entire life, ever. So yeah, peace.